Okay, dokey.
Okay. How we feeling, fam? How we
What is
feeling?
happening, people? Welcome in. Hopefully, you're having a fantastical day. It's a great day to be great.
Fantastical.
And yeah, fantastical. New word.
Love it.
And we are here to help you guys set your lineups, answer some questions. Obviously, we will talk about the Cam Akers trade, what that means for Alexander Mattison. I'm sure there will be questions on that, and people want to know our thoughts on that. But yeah, welcome in. Go ahead and drop a like on the stream as you join us. Drop your questions. We'll go in order. Super chats will get answered. Is fantastical a real word, Steven? He's saying it's a real word. Is it really?
Fantastical. Definition. Doesn't look like a real word. Fantastic.
Yeah, strange, weird, or fanciful in appearance. Yeah,
I wonder if,
we know what we're doing over here.
I'm looking at it, but anyways, it doesn't really matter.
Okay, guys. So I think we should start. Maybe we shouldn't start with that because there's going to be more people who join, and then it'll give us a chance to talk about it when there's more people, so there's less questions. You know what I mean? Okay. But maybe we inevitably will have to get to it. But let's see what the first question is here. Yo, what's up? Thank you for answering some questions yesterday. Drop Schultz or Ferguson for Hunter Henry. This would be probably Schultz. And then I would start Addison myself.
Sorry, what's the second question?
Addison or Kirk?
Yeah, I think both of them are great starts, especially if Zay Jones, is not playing, which didn't practice today, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, I do like Jordan Addison though, going against the Vikings or the Chargers this week.
Let's look at the next question. Go ahead.
It's kind of hard to see. Okay, Antetokounmpo, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so sorry if that's like really inappropriate. I don't know why. I feel bad every time I say it. Should I trade Olave and Nakua for CD in full PPR? Also, so should I trade Olave and Puka for CD? No, I would say this.
Absolutely not. Keep Olave and Puka. You don't have I don't have to overthink that one.
I'm not wanting to do it, but I think if you need the depth, and you're really struggling, let's say you have really bad injuries at the wide receiver position.
I'm saying keep Olave and Puka. He is asking if he should receive CeeDee Lamb.
For CeeDee Lamb. Right, no, you keep Olave in Nakua, but I thought it was the other way around, like send CeeDee Lamb. Anyways, also, should I trade Chase and Mostert for Diggs? So Jamar Chase and Mostert for Diggs. I got a lot of running back depth, and I don't need Mostert to BH. I'm still believing in Chase and that upside there with Joe Burrow. It may not come right now, but if you do have good depth at the wide receiver position as well, I think I would want to stay with Chase long term. Just because I believe in Joe Burrow. I believe in both of these guys. I think it's a fairly even, but just really depends on how Mostert goes, because I don't think you want to trade him away right now after the one game, because if he does stay healthy, it could be really good.
Cam Akers trade to the Vikings. We'll talk about this in 1 second. Sports Recap says, love the channel. Bijan is my RB1. Indecisive on who to start alongside him this week. James Cook, B-Rob, or Najee. I think this would be James Cook for me.
Yeah, James Cook. 100%.
Yes. Although I will say Najee does have a good matchup, so he should be better this week. If you had to choose 3 this week, Devontae Adams, T. Higgins, Zay Flowers, Nico Collins, and Lockett, it would be Adams, Higgins, and Lockett for me.
Yeah, Adams, Higgins, and Lockett as well. I would agree there.
Tony says, aloha. Would you drop Charbonnet to pick up Nico Collins? My 2 running backs are James Cook and Monty. I've got Dotson. Charbonnet's someone you need to keep rostered in a 12-man league, but Nico Collins should also be rostered. So I'm feeling like you're probably not in a 12-man league if you're asking that question. And in that scenario, I mean, I prefer Nico. He's a startable asset right now.
Yeah, I prefer Nico as well. This is what I would say. I would prioritize holding Zach Charbonnet if you do have Kenneth Walker. But if you have, let's say, Joe Mixon and you have Chase Brown on your bench, I would prioritize Chase Brown over Zach Charbonnet, just because of if handcuffs right now feel really important to
that's true.
The way it's moving forward. So
what's up, Steven? Welcome in. Joshua says, I totally called the Cam Akers to Minnesota to replace Madison in the Charlie chat. I love that. Replace Madison. We'll talk about that. Who starts in Mini? Okay, let's go ahead and get to it then. Why don't I let you tell me what you think first about the situation? What's your gut reaction here? How are you breaking this down? Akers, Cam. I know you're a Cam guy. And obviously Madison was someone that I was drafting this offseason. So where do you sit on this?
Yeah, look, I guess when it comes down to the first part, I've always expected this team to bring in somebody. I never thought it would be Cam Akers.
Right.
I thought it would be Kareem Hunt, Leonard Fournette, whatever the case may be. But that is clearly not it. Now it's Cam Akers coming in. This is the way I see it. If I'm telling you in a fantasy perspective, I think Cam Akers is still going to have the opportunities on the ground. It's not going to be a 70-30 now to Cam Akers. I think it will be a 50-50 kind of split. Okay. I think who is going to be more valuable to this team, it will probably be Alexander Mattison, specifically in a PPR standpoint, because Cam Akers doesn't catch the ball as often in the air. But if you're looking for touchdowns, if you're looking for goal line opportunity, I think it will be Cam Akers when it does come down to that spot. Now, I know Cam Akers has been inefficient this past week, in week 1. But, we saw how incredible he was in the second half of that season last year when he got the full range, when he got the opportunity. And that's what I'm seeing with Cam Akers. That's what I'm believing with Cam Akers. That's the player that I think he is. If it wasn't with, I just feel like there's still that leftover drama with Sean McVay. And I think that's exactly why we saw what we saw. That and Kyron Williams just looked better, right? Like, I have to be honest. He just looked better. So, okay. I don't think he is somebody that I'm running out to trade for. I think he is helping your team if you are struggling at the running back position, but specifically coming into week 3, I don't think he's going to be somebody that you should be starting. You have to wait and see what that looks like. But I don't mind. I think it's a fresh start, and they're going to utilize him in the best way possible.
Okay. So here's how I'm taking this information in at the moment. First off, I want to know exactly what the pick compensation is. It sounds like it might be like a swap of 6th or 7th round picks, which to me, I think that does matter. I think it does matter how much a team spends in a trade on a player, and it maybe shows the value of what the team trading for him sees him as. So I think it's important for us to see that. What I will say is my gut reaction is that obviously this does impact Alexander Mattison negatively. I don't think anyone out there could genuinely sit here and say this positively impacts Madison. What I will say is what I am seeing a lot over Twitter is Madison's done. It's Cam Akers season. And basically if you were out on Alexander Mattison, this is your victory lap essentially is what it seems like, right? Madison was a volume play. He wasn't an efficiency play. But anyone out there who is thinking like it's Cam Akers' job, that's it, now Akers is the guy, it's not Madison at all. I just think that's a little bit an overreaction. Have to keep in mind, first 2 weeks, Alexander Mattison, looked this up before the stream, Alexander Mattison had the 2 toughest matchups for running backs. Okay, Tampa Bay, who is currently first in run defense, they gave up the fewest yards, rushing yards per game. And Philadelphia was his next matchup, who give up the 2nd fewest rushing yards per game. Madison hasn't played well, for sure, absolutely. But the matchups have been awful, and the offensive line hasn't been good either. I mean, we all watched Thursday Night Football. How many times was he met in the backfield with that Eagles defensive line, okay? So he hasn't been good. The opposite side of that is Akers has probably been worse, honestly. Akers' first game was versus Seattle. They're currently 13th in run defense. So, I would say not the same, matchup that Madison has been facing. And oddly enough, Akers actually had more attempts in that one game, and he averaged 1.3 yards per attempt. Now, the reports that I was hearing personally out of the Rams building was that he just didn't look good in practice, and they just didn't feel like Akers was going to be someone that was going to contribute to their team. Now, is that because he, felt slighted because he wasn't the guy? Is there beef? Maybe. But this is a team that has said, hey, we're going to actually trust Kyron Williams to be the guy. We're going to trust him so much that we're going to send you out of the building for a late pick swap. So keep in mind, that's what his own team just said about him, okay? Mattison has not played well, unquestionably. He's had the most difficult schedule so far. I would go out on a limb and say if you swap these guys and you gave Mattison 22 attempts versus Seattle and Akers behind the offensive lines, right? 19 attempts versus those two teams, I'm not sure that it's different. I think these guys are probably just as good as each other. I don't think either of them are going to stand out. I don't think either of them are going to be league winners at this point. Both are going to be hindered by this. And I put up a poll as well out there. I wanted to see what people thought. And right now, this is why I feel like there's a slight overreaction. 48%, almost 50% of people, as of now, only 41 votes, are saying essentially, thanks for the sub, Javier, are saying essentially that they believe Akers is the RB1. I think the right move myself, I wanted to give it some time, is it's a 50-50 workload. It's a 50-50 share. Mattison was a volume play. He's no longer a volume play. But yeah, in my opinion, Akers isn't some like generational guy coming in. This isn't the Colts trading away Jonathan Taylor to the Vikings, right? This is a guy who they're late round pick swap, super inefficient to start. The team didn't even want him as a depth piece, and now he's in Minnesota. So my instant reaction to it is Mattison is a start this week because it's a good matchup, and I don't think Akers will be an important part this week. Could be wrong. But after that, going forward, we'll have to find out. I don't think anyone's truly going to know exactly what it looks like. Do I want to start either of those guys? Probably not. But I don't really see any sort of like scenario in which Akers is just the guy, barring an injury, in this backfield myself.
Yeah. Look, I hear you. I would say this. I know Akers had a terrible week 1, and he averaged an atrocious yards per carry. But I think a lot of that context is pretty important because I think he was out of this game from the start. He was already number 2 from the jump.
He had 22 attempts.
I understand, but when it comes down with the context, I'm not disagreeing. It's terrible. But I mean, I don't know if you have, but I've watched the game back.
Yeah.
A lot. I would say more than half, maybe 12, just under, less than that. Those attempts came in the 2-minute drill when they were up trying to run that clock out. So I feel
like you should be more efficient in a 2-minute drill when the defense isn't pressuring you at the line of scrimmage, though.
I'm saying, that's what I'm saying. I'm not disagreeing what you said that he's not inefficient, but I think that context of when he was already the number 2 in this backfield with all the reports coming out with Sean McVay and how Cam Akers felt slighted, he was just given those opportunities, which I think kind of reflects on him wrong in some way. But at the same time, it's like, well, you're right. He has to be better in those 2-minute drills. He has to when they're probably not stacking the box, when or maybe that team, maybe that team is going to run the 2-minute drill to run the ball, so they maybe stack the box a little bit more. Anyways, it doesn't really matter.
I don't see
he has a new.
I mean, we never see NFL teams stack the box in a 2-minute drill. It's like
Not,
that is
right.
If you're going to be efficient,
stack
it's
the box.
2-minute drill rushing the ball, right? I mean, like that's when it's like an obvious passing down, so you should be more efficient on the ground. I don't know. I mean, 22 attempts, more attempts than Mattison versus a way inferior defensive line. All I'm saying is Akers is not like some savior workhorse now. And if you have to me, if you have Akers in Dynasty, it's like, okay, maybe you finally have your last sell high attempt. I mean, I've been trying to tell people to sell them high for a while. To me, it's like if you can get a second for either of these guys, you take it and you run.
Look, once again, I'm not disagreeing. I'm not saying that he is. I'm not saying he's better than Alexander Mattison. What I am saying is that I think that one game specifically takes it completely out of context. In my perspective,
he had more.
In my perspective,
he had 22 carries in one game.
No, I understand. And
not many running backs can get 22 carries and be that inefficient in versus any defense.
But I think you're right. But it has happened before. Look, and I don't have that stat in front of me. I don't have that, but I think last year, and obviously it was last year, but when he got the attempts on the ground, he was really efficient. right? And
Dude, he had
specifically week
22
one.
attempts.
I know. I'm just
I
saying
want to see
specifically
how
week
many
one.
running backs had that many attempts in week 1 because honestly, I don't think there's more than 5 that would have had as many attempps as him.
Sure,
Like,
and
I'll have a look, but like I feel
I'm
like
not. I'm saying I'm not disagreeing. I'm not disagreeing that he's not inefficient in week one. I think you're not. I don't think you're hearing what I'm saying. I'm just saying
you're saying
that,
like he was in a bad situation, right?
No, I'm saying that in that context, he did get 22 attempts, but he was still number 2 in that backfield.
Okay, which if you're the reliever, there should be more efficiency. That's why we see the likes of Tony Pollard more efficient without Zeke, right? Or with Zeke when he's coming in to relieve. That's why we see that with Jaylen Warren. People see the juice. Typically,
Sure.
the reliever is the one that the defenses don't focus on, right? And I feel like what
That
what
wasn't
I'm
the case
hearing
moving
is all
in
these things
fantasy.
that should benefit him.
Yeah. Once again, I think in a fantasy perspective, and not in an NFL perspective, he was the number 1 guy. Everyone thought Cam Akers was going to be the guy coming in, no matter what team you were, no matter what fantasy team you were on. I'm just saying that Cam Akers was already put in the backseat before he even knew he was in the backseat. And then using those, just giving him those leftover opportunities.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's going to be better here. I'm not saying
Right.
he is the better running back in Minnesota now. I'm just saying I think there's a lot of context, not that you brought, but a lot of context in that week 1 game that I think a lot of the fantasy community is saying that, like, I think it's a bit maybe a little bit unfair. Not saying that Cam Akers is. I think you would agree. Would you say he's a better running back than what you saw in week 1? Yes or no?
Well, the first half of 2022, that's exactly what you saw. Is what you saw in week 1. Like that's what I'm saying. It's not like
he wasn't being utilized.
Yes, he was. It's not like this game that we saw in week 1 is just some outlier for Cam Akers and he's been super efficient the rest of his career, right? Yes, in fact, his career, to be honest, like since the Achilles, that stretch to end the season last year was the outlier, in my opinion. I don't know. Look,
I agree.
How in week 1, 22 carries for Cam Akers. That is more than any running back in the NFL, tied with Christian McCaffrey for the most amount of attempts in week 1 of any running back. And he had 1.3 yards per attempt. I don't know. It just feels like, in summation, what I'm saying is like, this isn't good for either of them. It's not good for either of them. If I have Cam Akers,
I would agree.
You're feeling better because it's a different situation. If I have Madison, I'm not selling. Like I'm just holding because I don't think anyone gives me an offer that's worth selling right now. And I still think that there is a chance that Cam Akers is taking over like the 40% to Madison's 60. Now there's a chance it's 50-50. There's a chance that Akers is the guy, but Akers hasn't shown us anything to believe that. He's not being traded for any sort of valuable draft pick, and he's been extremely inefficient with more carries versus far inferior rushing defenses than Madison. So anyway, like I said, the reason I'm saying this is because currently the poll that I put out, 50% of people are saying Akers will be the RB1, and only 30% are saying it's a split backfield. That doesn't feel right to me.
Right. I mean, yeah, everyone has a different opinion. I don't think it's going to be Cam Akers' backfield. I do believe it'd be more a 50-50. I think Cam Akers will have more of the opportunities on the ground specifically than in the air. But you know, we were drafting Madison because of the passing opportunities that we were expecting him to take when Dalvin Cook wasn't there no longer. Plus the work on the ground, which is clearly not the case anymore. So I'm not disagreeing with you in that sentiment.
Sure.
I think I just disagree when we take the one game that we saw and just say
It's not one game though for Akers.
I'm just saying the one game this year specifically, because that's what everyone is talking about.
Okay.
I mean, and look, that's what I'm saying. So like, we just throw away the second half of last season then.
No.
Because no one's bringing that up.
Well, you
get
brought
what
it
I'm
up.
saying?
Yeah, I'm saying like, yeah, it's
That's what I'm saying. But no one that's arguing against Cam Akers is bringing that up.
Sure. Right. I mean, look.
I mean,
I think anytime a team sends away a guy when they need depth on their running back for a late pick round swap, it should say something. I don't know, but
100%, it's not okay. I'm not. Once again, I'm not disagreeing on that sentiment.
Yeah.
Because I do believe, like, yeah, if it's a 7th round pick, 6th round pick, it's like, holy shit, like, You just gave Madison a contract extension. You got Cam Akers. Doesn't mean he's even going to be on your team next year, right? Like, I completely agree there because it's not good for Cam. So I back you in that sentiment. I just think he's a better running back than people do say, but because we saw when he got the opportunity in the second half. But he didn't show up in week 1 either. So I can't disagree in that either.
I would just say last thing is since the Achilles injury, we have seen a lot more bad than we have seen good for Akers. Agreed or no?
Once again, was the second half not good?
That's not what I said. Come on, bro. I didn't speak in absolutes, did I? I said we have seen more bad than we have seen good.
Oh, and yes, okay. Over in his career, absolutely. There's been more bad than good. I'm not disagreeing, but I think there has been not a lot of good. I think there has been enough good to say he is an efficient running back when he gets the opportunity, and when he is the true running back.
Okay,
but I don't know. Maybe we disagree on that because
I don't think Akers will ever be a franchise running back. Ever.
I don't think so either.
And I think in summation, what I'm trying to say is I believe that the Vikings wanted to have someone take more of the load from Madison, but Chandler isn't that guy. Neither of the guys who are like, this just improves their backfield as a whole somehow. But neither of these guys are guys that I'm excited about, that I, want to play. Madison was always a volume play. And we're talking about 2 extremely inefficient backs. So it's kind of a mid-off is what I was trying to allude to.
Yeah, and we'll wait and see. And I'm not disagreeing with that. I do believe we're gonna have to wait and see what that looks like.
Yeah.
When it comes down to this backfield, but Madison, I would say, in a PPR standpoint, you probably still want Madison because he's gonna get the passing opportunities.
Well, let's make the call now. Then I mean. If I was to tell you, I'm a genie in a bottle, and I am giving you the worst genie you could ever imagine. You don't get 3 wishes. You get to choose one of these running backs on your fantasy team for the rest of the year. Who are you choosing?
I want Alexander Madison.
Yeah, same. Okay, so we're on the same page.
Because of the pass catching opportunities.
Okay.
I think it's the same. It's a similar thing when you think of James Cook and Damian Harris. James Cook, I wanted him because I knew he was going to get into that pass catching opportunity, even though I do believe he's going to get a lot of the work on the ground, which he did, but that's a completely different story. But like coming into the season, it's like, I want James Cook because of those pass catching opportunities. I don't care about Damian Harris getting 1 or 2 carries and going in the end zone. Right? Like that's kind of what I've been saying. Well, with Cam Akers coming in, I thought he was going to be getting the same type of workload, the same type of opportunity that we saw coming in the second half of the season. I understand he got 22 carries, but last year he didn't have the Kyren Williams who clearly showed significantly better outwork.
Kyren was on the team last year,
but he didn't. I don't think he played last year. Did he?
He played, but just not as much as he is now. We'll find out. Like maybe this is just Sean McVay doesn't like Cam Akers, or maybe it's Cam Akers isn't good. They wanted him off the team so much that Ronnie Rivers was their backup, and it's a mid-off in Minnesota. Like we'll find out. But either way, not good. Not good if you have Madison. Not good. I guess it's good if you have Akers because he's somewhere else. But overall, just not really a situation I'm excited about. I will say though, I'm still starting Madison this week versus the Chargers.
I would agree. I'm still starting Madison. It's a short week. I mean, Akers got traded today, Wednesday afternoon. He has a game on Sunday. He probably sees some sort of workload, maybe, 20%. Maybe he gets there to relieve Madison. But he's not going to be somebody that you kind of expect. I don't even think next week is going to be like, okay, we need to see what Cam Akers could do. Give him a couple weeks to see how this is really going to acclimate.
And can I say something? But I don't want it there to be too much of an overreaction from people. There's a scenario of a buy low here for Madison, and don't hear what I'm saying. The expectations change. The expectation is no longer Madison's a top 24 finish. He could. The expectation is now he might be a flex option, and with the amount of injured running backs, there's a chance you can go trade for him and just have him start for this week. Figure it out next week. We might have to do that with running backs this year. You might have to play it week by week, and this week Madison is a fine start. So anyway,
I think we can agree there that we don't see this backfield as being exciting.
No,
so-
but this is really exciting for Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison and TJ Hawkinson because it's not Jonathan Taylor back there.
And it's exciting if you got Kyron Williams off a waiver wire because Cam
Oh.
Akers is not going to be a thing anymore.
Yeah, I mean,
Which,
that's true.
not saying that he was going to be a thing. I'm just saying, like, I think in the back of my mind, I was like, okay, well, shit, is Cam Akers ever going to come back? I was like, if he does come back and gets, 2 touchdowns, has a great breakout run, does Sean McVay go to Cam Akers now, then Kyron Williams? But now it's Kyron Williams all the way. You got a starting running back off the waiver wires, which is phenomenal.
Oh, yeah. I did my rankings this week. Kyron Williams is my running back 9. Ahead of Aaron Jones. Ahead of Najee Harris, Ramondre Stevenson, Jahmyr Gibbs.
Look, it's great now, 100%. It is phenomenal if you got Kyron Williams. I mean, this is Cordell Patterson. I mean, the most recent Cordell. I mean, who was the most recent running back that finished?
I feel like this is Austin Eckler.
There you go, Austin Eckler. That's a better comparison. I'm just thinking of the most recent running back in the past like 2 to 3 years that was picked up off of waiver wires and finished as like a top 10 guy with got the opportunities in the air and in the ground.
Yeah,
I
guess Eckler would have been drafted. This is James Robinson then for fantasy.
True. Right. Maybe James Robinson is a better one as well.
Only he catches a shit ton of passes. Anyway, so if anyone has questions about what our thoughts are on Cam Akers and Alexander Mattison, watch the first 25 minutes of the stream, the first 30 minutes of the stream, and you'll know exactly how we think. So if we get any questions going further. What's up, Uncle Dut? All right, guys, go ahead and smash the like button. Do us a favor. As we help you guys set your lineups this week, you help the channel grow. Go ahead and smash the like button. 73 people watching. Can we get to 50 likes? 50. With your help, I think we can get there. Go ahead and hit the like button. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Drop your questions. And if you want your questions answered straight away, we have Super Chat as an option. We will get to Super Chats. And Super Chats will be prioritized. I know there's a couple, but I already clicked on this question. We'll get to those right next. Do you guys think Kittle will actually come close to his projected points one day? Yes, Kittle will be better, guys. Especially if Ayuk doesn't play this week. Kittle's a great start.
This is a good opportunity for George Kittle, by the way. Historically, the Giants are terrible versus the tight end position. I mean, you saw that in week 1. You saw that this past week against the Cardinals with freaking Zach Ertz and George Kittle. I won't be surprised if he has his biggest game of the season so far. So keep that in mind.
Yeah. All right, we have some super chats from. First one is from Carl. Thank you, Carl, for the super chat. We will answer those first.
All the super chats. Yeah.
So appreciate the support. Pick 2: Madison, Sanders, Najee, Flex 1, Moore, and Godwin. I'm assuming that's DJ Moore and Chris Godwin. So the first one: Madison, Najee, Sanders. I believe this would be Sanders for me even before the news. Sanders is my RB13 this week. He goes up against the Seattle Seahawks, who currently give up the most points to fantasy running backs. I noticed you did a video, and someone commented, actually, the Seahawks don't give up the most points to fantasy running backs. I went and checked on like multiple sites. They do. They give up the most points to fantasy running backs in half PPR, standard, and PPR. I'm like, what's people's problems?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a great matchup. In my personal opinion, I'd be going Madison there.
Yeah, Madison and
Sanders.
I'm going. You had to pick 2 from.
Oh, okay.
Running back.
Madison
so Sanders and Madison.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I'm assuming that's DJ Moore. I'm still going DJ Moore. I still believe in Justin Fields. I mean, it may be garbage points, but I'm pretty happy with that.
Yes. I would be going Chris Godwin. Philly's been absolutely destroyed through the air, and we know for sure they're going to be able to put up points. They're going to need their wide receivers in this game. I mean, keep in mind, last week we saw Jordan Addison go off as a secondary guy. We've seen Philly be destroyed by I mean, Kendrick Bourne had a wide receiver 1 week versus this team in week 1. So, yeah, I'm going Chris Godwin with that second one. Steven, thank you so much for the super chat, man. Appreciate you. We'll answer this straight away. Should I drop Elijah Moore, Elijah Mitchell, or Bigsby for Gainwell? Also, would you spot start Craig Reynolds or Warren this week? I don't think I can pull myself together to start Craig Reynolds. I would start Jaylen Warren. It's a good matchup versus the Raiders. Jaylen Warren is getting involved through the air. I think it's like a top 5 matchup versus the Raiders. for Warren.
Right.
So Warren would be
Yeah.
my first answer there.
One will be my answer, but the person that I would drop there, Steven, will probably be Bigsby. I'd rather keep Elijah Mitchell if CMC goes down. And I still believe in Elijah Moore, especially with those targets coming in. Now that Nick Chubb is down
Yes.
as well. But Kareem Hunt is also part of the team now. We also need to probably talk about that as well, which we didn't talk about. But yes, I
don't think anyone cares about Kareem Hunt.
yeah, probably. But I'll be dropping Tank Bigsby for Kenneth Gainwell.
Yeah, I think that's the move. But what I will say is so this is the 200 IQ play, Steven. You ready for this? This is 200 IQ chess moves.
Here we go.
All right.
200 IQ.
You drop Bigsby now. If he clears waivers and Thursday Night Football happens and CMC is not injured, you drop Mitchell and you pick up Bigsby. That's how that works, right? So you're kind of dodging bullets for both games there, if that makes sense. That's how I would play it.
Makes sense.
Kitchen, what's up, man? Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you. Thoughts on Lamar Jackson, Alexander Madison? Okay, so he's putting his team in there. Week 3 PPR. What are my weaknesses as a starting lineup? Well, I would probably point to the running backs overall, right? I mean, these are not 3 running backs that, Brian Robinson unquestionably has exceeded expectations. But I don't think either of us could be like, yeah, he's going to be this good all year long. He's going to be a top 5 guy. Obviously, Madison, big question marks now, and Najee Harris. So, like, those 3 running backs, let's take Brian out of it, then just Madison and Najee. I'm really worried about those 2 guys, so that would be the weakness of your team overall. But as a starting lineup this week, I think you're fine. It's just like season long, it's a concern.
Season long is a question mark, especially now that we need to see what's going to happen with Cam Akers and Alexander Madison. But once again, you get the PPR opportunity with Madison. Brian Robinson looked good. We gotta wait and see, like Zach said, if that keeps up. He's playing the Buffalo Bills this week. So, but other than that, like Zach said, it is a decent team. We gotta wait and see what it looks like.
Yeah. All right, that's all the super chats for now.
We got one more.
Oh, we do?
Blue Chew.
Oh, my bad.
I think.
There you go, Blue.
I don't know if you can see
Thank you for the donation, man. My bad.
Blue Crew. Trade away Cooper and Monty for Higgins. I
wouldn't do that.
Yeah, first of all, I wouldn't do it, but I think what really depends on your running back position, guys. I did release my running back trade away video. I kind of talk about and break it into tiers of players I'll be trading away, keeping. There's no running back I really want to trade away right now, especially in this market. You need to keep everyone because all these running backs are valuable. In some way, in some shape or form. So you got to wait and see. Don't trade away your star wide receiver to help you in the running back position. But anyways, I wouldn't be doing that either. I like Cooper and Monty long term.
Yeah, we're on the same page there. All right, guys, that's all the super chats for now. If you do want your question answered straight away, drop a super chat. We'll get to it. We'll prioritize it. Let's see.
I think the next one was Carlos.
Carlos, pick 2.
Yeah.
Gibbs, James Cook, or Mostert. And this would be Gibbs and Cook for me.
Gibbs and Cook, yeah. Gibbs and Cook, absolutely.
Quinn, what's up, Quinn? He says, Jacobs, Mostert, Madison, pick 2. Have Eckler, but he might not go.
Kelly.
Okay, so this would be Josh Jacobs and... Man, let me check between Mostert and Madison. Because that's where I would be caught up there.
Yeah, Raheem's playing the Broncos, so I think I might be going Raheem there.
Yeah, that would be same for me. Jacobs and Mostert, and the next I assume that would be the same for you too.
Yeah, it will be the same for me. I'm going Raheem.
This
there.
is a big week for Swift. I feel like do we know if Kenneth Gainwell is practicing?
Let's find out.
No, we haven't heard any update on that, but that would be interesting. His second one is, and then Addison, Godwin, or Garrett Wilson, pick 2. This would be Addison and Godwin for me. Don't really want to start Wilson versus New England myself. What's up, Parker?
He said Stafford, Stroud, Danny Dimes, or Baker. My goodness, none of these guys have the best opportunity coming into this week. Is it crazy to say I'm going to be going?
I'd be
It's
Stafford.
between, yeah, Stafford and Daniel Jones right there. Those are the two that I'm contemplating. Stafford
I
on
wouldn't
Monday
start Danny
night.
Dimes personally.
Yeah,
No
I would.
Saquon,
It's
San Francisco.
it's tough. It's tough. Yeah, it's between those two, but
Yeah.
I don't think he will be as bad as before. But I think I might lean Daniel Jones a little bit. Maybe that's a home pick, but I don't think he'll be a terrible.
You're notoriously an anti Thursday night football guy though
I am.
for fantasy.
Yeah, I am. I haven't mentioned that this week so far, this year so far, because I'm trying to change my ways. But yes, I don't like any of my key players starting on Thursday night football, unfortunately.
Mike Williams or Tank Dell? You gotta go Mike Williams.
go Mike.
But Tank Dell is definitely someone I want in my team. He was my first priority in our home league. He was my number one, and this son of a bitch got him one spot ahead of me. Our home league is like old. They don't do fab. It's so annoying. It's like, come on, guys. What we asked them last year. You guys ready to do fab? Like, oh no, we don't want to change things. It's like, come on.
And then what's funny is that
This year they're like, why aren't we
the
using
game
fab?
this year, like, why are we using fab? Like, what do you mean? You said you hated fab. Anyways, I'll just hold it up. If you're listening and you know who you are, look yourself in the mirror.
Yeah.
Adam, Swift, Rashad White, or Najee, which one to pick for PPR? This one's interesting. Who's Rashad White?
Swift,
Rashad's
Rashad, or
playing the
Najee?
Eagles. I'm going Najee, actually. But I think it is a big week, like you said, for Swift. They play each other. Or Swift and Rashad, excuse me. But Najee has a better matchup here.
Yeah, Rashad's matchup not good versus the Eagles. We have not seen a running back do well. Swift's matchup versus the Bucks also not good. Those are actually the two most difficult matchups versus running back so far. Here's what I'll say though, just because of the offense that Swift is attached to, if Gainwell doesn't play, I'll go Swift, and that will change my rankings. But right now my rankings are reflecting Gainwell playing, so that would be important context there. So Najee, if Gainwell plays, if Gainwell doesn't, we'll play Swift there. We do have some super chats, so we'll get to those straight away. Hey guys, 83 people watching. Thanks for hanging out with us. Just so you know what we're doing, we are answering your week 3 fantasy football questions. Go ahead and smash the like button. As we help you set your lineups, you can help the channel grow by dropping a like. Drop a super chat if you want your question answered straight away. Otherwise, we'll go in order. We do have a super chat here from What Happened? What happened? Did I fleece my league mate? I spent $25 fab to get Ford and flipped him for Christian Watson in a 24 first.
Yes.
Yes, you fleeced your league mate. Yes. I mean, if I had Ford, first off, can we get a victory lap for Badaki and I on Jerome Ford? Anyone over there on the Dynasty channel? We've been telling you guys to buy Jerome Ford all offseason. We loved him during the pre-draft process. And, you know, he's just been buried in rankings. So, I mean,
he was my RB2 coming out of that class. I loved him. Fell to the 5th round, 4th round, if I'm not mistaken. Goes behind one of the best running backs in the National Football League.
Yeah,
and I was like,
it's a death sentence.
It was a death sentence. I was like, and literally, what sounds terrible, I was like, either Nick Chubb needs to get traded or he has a season-ending injury. And one of the two happened, and now we're going to see a true Jerome Ford. Let's see what happens with Kareem Hunt, though.
Actually, can we get some Cleveland fans sending
I
death
said
threats?
this. I said, I mean, I was then hoping for that 2-3 years ago then, because I was really like, dang, this really sucks. But I really wasn't hoping for that, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, he fleeces league mate, absolutely. Oracle, thank you for the super chat, man. Appreciate you. One quarterback PPR. He's given us his lineup there. He's flexing Puka. Okay, so thoughts. I guess he's just asking what recommendations does he have. So he's starting Allen, Diggs, Ayuk, Bijan, Pollard, Andrews, and flexing Puka. So he is starting superstar after superstar after superstar after superstar after superstar after superstar. And on his bench, he's got a superstar. This is
what I would say.
This is exactly how I would play this roster.
Yeah. I mean, I would say this. If Ayuk doesn't go this week, move Puka to your starting lineup there, Oracle. And I think I would be starting Nico Collins, actually.
You should actually put Nico in place of Ayuk, because Puka is a Monday Night Football game, so he should stay in your flex. But yes, I get what you're saying. Like, Puka's Monday Night Football, so he'll be the latest player to play, so he should stay in the flex.
Well, when do you want him to stay in? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I do it for both. So if I have a Thursday night game and a Monday night game, I put them in my starting wide receiver spot, and then if in the flex position, I have the versatility to put a running back or a wide receiver.
No. You always put the latest guy to play in your flex.
Okay, maybe I'm
because you're giving yourself as much flexibility as long as
right.
you can.
You're right. You're right. Sorry. I mean, I have been doing it. I've done it before, and I've been okay. I haven't gotten to a situation like that. So thank God I've never gotten to it in my years of fantasy. To be honest, look at me.
Sean says start 3: Olave, Kirk, Garrett Wilson, Evans, and New York Giants / San Francisco prediction. Okay, let's start at the first. Start 3. You start Olave, you start Mike Evans, and then it's between Christian Kirk and Garrett Wilson. And this, for me, is an example where I would go Garrett Wilson over Christian Kirk. Now, that is assuming Zay Jones plays. If Zay Jones does not play, then we might have to look at Kirk here. But to be honest, I feel like Wilson is a start there regardless. The more I think about this, we have seen team after team after team for the last year plus beat the Texans on the ground. Trevor Lawrence was an awful start both games last year, and Kirk was the number one. You know, Kirk was a bad play all last year, and he was the number one versus this team. So that feels like a little bit of a trap to me. So yeah, it would be Olave, Garrett Wilson, and Evans for me. And I don't know if you have a different opinion.
I will start Kirk personally. I kind of said Garrett Wilson was a must sit coming into this week, and I said start any of these Jags wide receivers. A lot of it does have to fall with Zay Jones. I'd like to see another game with Zay Jones. If Zach is talking true about that, but I still believe in Kirk.
Yeah. Giants and San Francisco prediction. I hate to be that guy, but I think you're going to get rocked.
I'm with you. I think it's not about how, it's about how we lose. I think it's the biggest thing. We can't lose 40-0. We need to show competitiveness on both sides of the ball. So if we lose, 40, at least we can score 28 points. That's what I'm hoping for.
Lose with honor.
Exactly. Lose with honor. Don't just freaking get shut out and spit in the face by the Cowboys. Anyways, appreciate you, Sean. Morgan, thank you for the super sup, fellas. Rachaad White or Ford versus Tennessee. Both of these guys I don't want to start. I would personally say,
I would honestly, I think I would go Rachaad here. Fuck, would I? I mean, that is awful.
I personally think I'm going Ford because that is a run-first offense regardless. And Philly is phenomenal against the run. And Ford can get both of these guys can get opportunity in the air. Let me just say that. Right?
Jesus.
I just think
you brought the question from hell.
I just think that Ford he'll probably break a tackle. I also think this team, Ford can also run into the end zone. He has a better opportunity to get into the end zone than Rachaad White, in my opinion, as well. But we saw the Titans defense. This is what I'll say this, because I was actually watching their game last night, Titans versus Chargers. Joshua Kelly had a couple big runs, but they didn't utilize him the way I thought they would. They used all three of their backs, Dotson and who was the dude from A&M? What's his name again that we hated? That everyone thought he was going to be like the best running back, and he went to the Chargers. Isaiah Spiller. I like Ford this week. It's tough. It's a tough matchup there, Ben, but I'm going to go Ford. You may hate me for it, but
I'm trying to fix my rankings now as I'm processing this.
Rachaad White versus. Do you think of Rashad? You think of what Alexander Madison did against Philly, and you think of
that's exactly what I just thought about. So I'm trying to fix my rankings right now.
But you also think of the Titans, and you think of what Kelly did. Joshua Kelly last week, even though it wasn't sexy, he got 3 points, but he wasn't utilized Philly. Well, he used 79% of the snaps, so maybe that is a lie, right? Who the Titans play week 1? Titans played, I think it was the Colts. They played the Colts. They played the Titans. 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 the Saints. And
Okay.
Jamal Williams.
I am
clearly
going forward
wasn't.
here. I am officially going to go forward here.
I'm just going based on the
That's
PPR
disgusting.
upside, I think.
That is disgusting, but yeah, I'll go forward.
All right.
Hate that
What else we
question. I'm
got?
sorry.
Tyler. Yeah,
Thanks
you
for
so
the super
much.
chat, though.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tyler. He says start Pittman or Josh Reynolds. I'm going Pittman.
Yeah, I would go Pittman there as well. I mean, look, there's a scenario here where if Amon-Ra is like limited or something by his, I think he has turf toe. Not many people are talking about that. I'm pretty sure he has turf toe injury, but he's a dog. He'll play through
heard
it.
I think he will play to it as well.
But yeah, I'll go Pittman there. We'll go Pittman.
Yeah.
But I will
got
say
one more
that
super chat.
Reynolds should be rostered in 12-man leagues.
Yeah.
D. Holly, thank you so much for the super chat. Really appreciate you. 16 PPR Dynasty 2 Flex League. Puts the lineup there. Looks good. Any trades I should do? So just a generalized question there. Allen, Lamb, JJ, Pierce, James Cook, Hawk, Woods, Rashawn, Downs, Tucker. I mean, I have been someone who has been telling people to trade Dameon Pierce for a long time. Got roasted for how low I had him in my pre-draft rankings, pre-season rankings this year. That's someone I would have told you before the year to trade away. I just don't know. Like, do you think people will give you anything for Pierce now? Like, can you still get a first-round pick for him? Because I don't think you can.
I don't think you can. This offense is clearly better than we expected. Let me rephrase that. This offense is clearly better moving the ball down the field than expected, which may result in them having to not stack the box as much and you take these wide receivers more seriously, right? And maybe that may be something later on down the road, but I don't think there's anyone here that I want to personally move. I want to keep everyone. Woods, I don't think you can get anything for Roberto Woods.
No one's going to send you something for Woods.
No, I think right now you kind of keep everyone you have and see. If somebody comes to you with something, that's what I would do. But
yeah, I would say like Josh Allen is a staple. You don't move Josh Allen. Lamb and Justin Jefferson are pillars of your team. You don't move them. Hawkinson, again, another pillar. You don't move Hawkinson. So overall, the names I would be willing to move is Dameon Pierce, if you can still get a first-round pick or you can still pivot away from him. And then no one's going to give you anything for Clyde. Yeah, and like even
much.
Evan Hull is like a hold. So it's a decent. It's like, here's what I'll say: like, if people are used to like 12-man leagues, they'll look at this league and be like, "Oh, that's a bad team." But in a 16-man, that's a pretty damn good team. Like, you have like Allen, Lamb, JJ, and Hawkinson in a 16-man. That's a pretty incredible lineup. So I think you should feel very, very good about this team. And yeah, there's no obvious sell high here.
Yeah, I would agree. No obvious sell high. I think you're fine. I would say hold everyone that you have so far. But if I would say this, I love Dameon Pierce. I don't know if I want to sell him yet. I do. This offense is better than what we expected, and I think they need to realize how to use the run game and more efficiently. Maybe that's how I'm perceiving it, but we'll wait and see what that looks like.
Ben, thank you so much for the super chat, man. No worries.
Yes.
Appreciate you
so
for
much,
the support. Man. D. Holly, on a 16-team PPR Dynasty team, I just sent through super chat. Mondre, Pittman, White, and Puka for Jefferson. Did I give up too much? Okay, so you sent away Ramondre Stevenson, Michael Pittman, Rashad White, and Puka for Jefferson. The issue is, like, dude, if this was a 10-man league, you got a steal. But in a 16-man league,
you gave up a lot of depth.
Yeah, this is, unfortunately, if I have to be honest, in a 16-man league, I think you gave up too much, because that is drastically improving someone's starting lineup from day one.
Yeah, that's a lot to give up. I mean, look, I am not like Zach. Yeah, you need in especially with your lineup that you just saw. I wish you had Pittman. I wish you had White. I wish you had Puka. You know, especially with the team that you have now. Look at your bench. So you essentially got Justin Jefferson, but now you're saying, well, I have Robert Woods, I have Sean Tucker. I have Christian Rodriguez. I have,
Yeah.
Braxton Berrios. Like, I would have rather have Michael Pittman, Ramondre Stevenson, and Rashad White there.
And Puka.
Than all those. Yeah, and Puka. So yeah, it's tough.
Like we said, in a 10-man, absolutely get the best player. In a 16-man, you need depth everywhere, and I think you might have sacrificed it. I'm sorry, just honest opinion, but you still got the best wide receiver in the NFL. All right, We're back to the normal questions there. Again, guys, if you want your super chats and your question answer, drop a super chat. We prioritize those. But the next question in order, which we will go in order, is from Bruin Backhand. Would you trade Rashad White and Gus Edwards for Breece Hall? Yes, I would.
Yeah, I would as well.
Blue Cruz says trade away Amari Cooper and Montgomery for Higgins. I'm pretty sure we already answered this question.
Yeah, we answered that.
But overall, we said no, we wouldn't. Javonte Williams or Kyron Williams in Dynasty.
Still going Javonte.
I am still going Javonte in Dynasty, but man, ask me that question in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Could be different. Fresh cut. Appreciate you, man.
Gosh.
You don't give up a 6th round swap to bench the guy, Steven.
Talk it up, Steven.
I know there's sarcasm in that. Tingley says RB room is decimated by injuries, and now Pacheco might be out. Ford, Rashawn, Herbert are my only options currently on the bench. Who do I start? Okay, he's also got some waiver options. Warren's actually not a bad pickup this week.
Warren is not a bad pickup.
Let's start. So Ford, Rashawn, Herbert are his only options.
I mean, to be honest, I'm not upset starting Ford or just Ford.
So if the question is who do you start of those guys, you start Jerome Ford. If the question is start 2, it's Ford and Herbert.
Yeah,
but very soon that will be Ford and Rashawn. So it's good you have both of them.
I would pick up Jaylen Warren immediately though. I would pick him up.
Yeah.
I would also say this. I know Matt Breida is not exciting for this week, and Saquon Barkley is projected to miss 3 weeks. The Giants play the Seattle Seahawks next week on Monday night, who give it the most fantasy points to the running back room. It's not sexy, but something to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
Gibbs or James Cook. I think we both go
Gibbs
this week.
Yeah. Gibbs. I mean, Amon-Ra's not healthy. 9 targets last week for Gibbs. Montgomery's not healthy. Yeah, I'll go Gibbs.
I think we answered Kitchen's one in the super chat here.
We did answer that. That was a super chat. Should I get Jonathan Taylor? Is it smart? We need a little more context there, to be honest with you. Like, is it a dynasty? I'm assuming it's a redraft team, but who are your other running backs? Do you have a IR spot you can put him on? What would it require for you to trade for him? So yeah, it's a smart move. Just depends on what it would cost and what the context is. Hazelnut says, guys, I'm rolling with Brock Purdy at home against the Giants over Justin Fields at Kansas City. Oh dude. Okay, here's what I'll say. Brock Purdy, been a guy I've loved all offseason. Been talking him up on the Dynasty channel. I'm still starting Justin Fields this week, though. Did you see the interviews today and how he had to clarify his comments? They're going to let that man loose. I think they're going to let him loose.
Oh, man.
If it doesn't happen this week for Fields, I'm ready to kind of like
I would say this, Hazel. I would say this. I think Brock Purdy is going to score you 22-plus points. Justin Fields has a ceiling. Number. I think he will.
I would put it at 15.
Okay. 15-plus points. I think Justin Fields probably will score you then 22-plus points. Could. Not will. Could.
So to answer the question, though, who are you going with?
I'm still going Justin Fields.
Okay.
But I don't think Brock Purdy is a terrible floor play. How about that?
Yeah, that's fair. He's the better floor, for sure.
Yeah.
What's up, Jalen? Can trade for CD, but I'm giving up Madison and Kenneth Walker. Is it worth it? Yeah, for sure.
I think it's worth it. I think it also depends on who your running backs are.
That's a good point.
That's a big thing. If you're getting up Madison and Kenneth Walker, and you're telling me you have Khalil Herbert and Joe Mixon, I don't know if I want to do that. But you let us know. What's happening, Kyle? How you doing, brother?
What's up, Kyle? Welcome in, brother.
Ryan J says pick 3 this week. PPR: Gibbs, Walker, James Cook. I'm going Gibbs, Walker, and Kyron.
Yeah,
no, Mike. Oh, Mike Williams is there as well.
Kyron is when I look at this list, Kyron is like my number 1 start out of this list. And then
the
I
way
have
they're
to.
utilizing him is kind of crazy.
I would go
Specifically in the-
Kyron, Gibbs, and Walker there. Kyron, Gibbs, Walker for me.
I think I'm going Mike Williams.
Then who are you not playing?
I know that's the hardest part. That's the hardest part.
Mike Williams got 12 targets last week, which is incredible. We talked about it. He was a start of the week for me.
And he's playing the Vikings this week.
That's true. It's a very good start. But Kyron Williams got 10 targets on his own. And he got rushing yards.
Yeah, true. That's true. So Kyron Williams, Mike Williams. And I actually think I feel more comfortable starting Kenneth Walker.
Kenneth Walker is one of my favorite plays this week. He's my RB6 versus Carolina.
And I think that's where I'm going. I think I'm going to be sitting Gibbs there.
Okay.
What sounds crazy.
Yeah.
But that's a tough one.
Brunal, what's up, man? Should I start JSN, Dylan, or Fryermuth at flex? Okay, so probably going JSN there. And then the next
Dylan or Fryermuth. Yeah, I'm going JSN.
You know, unless I know it's not been good. But
who's the other tight end? I need to know who your other tight ends are. Because I'm assuming, like, why are you not starting Fryermuth at your tight end position?
He's probably got a better one than if he's flexing him. Yeah, I'll go JSN there.
And then he says also Ford, Fryermuth, or Pierce at flex.
This would be Ford for me. Dameon Pierce, don't love the matchup. Not sure they're going to be able to establish the run.
Yeah, I agree. Don't love the matchup either. Have Burrow starting and Purdy as my backup. With Burrow's injury, should I start Purdy over him since he plays tomorrow? That's a tough one as well. I think you can't risk it with Burrow. The question is, who's available on your waiver wires?
To be fair, like even Burrow in his before he retweaked the injury, I think he's going to be fine rest of the season. But even before he retweaked the injury, Brock Purdy has been a better fantasy asset through 2 weeks. So we don't know if he's going to play. If you don't play Brock Purdy and Joe Burrow doesn't play, you're screwed. So you kind of you have to play Brock Purdy there.
I agree.
Unless there's a report that comes out, yes, we'll have Joe Burrow this week.
Yeah, 100%. I would agree there. Javier, appreciate your cheers. Says I need your help with my lineup. I'm not sure what the question is there. Lamar, Goff, Kyron, Brian Robinson, Kelly, James Cook, Austin Eckler. I mean, if Eckler doesn't play, you start Kelly and Cook. I mean, that's the thing.
I think he wants us to set his entire lineup here. He's got another question down below.
Okay.
Guys, try and condense your questions there. Okay, you start Lamar Jackson. You start Kyron Williams and Eckler if he plays.
Yeah, Eckler
if Eckler doesn't play, you start Brian Robinson there. Your 2 wide receivers.
I'm actually starting James Cook. Sorry.
Okay, continue. My bad. Yeah, James Cook. Your 2 wide receivers. You start AJ Brown.
And Tyler Lockett.
And Tyler Lockett. At tight end,
Dallas Goedert.
You start Goddard, and your 2 flexes. You go Brian Robinson and probably Jacoby Myers.
Yeah. Keep it at that.
We're not going to do that again, by the way. Just so everyone knows. That just took too long. We're not going to set everyone's entire lineups. Just ask a more specific question, guys. We love you. We appreciate you. We're glad you're here. But it just takes too long. Sean says, traded Gabe Davis and Breida for Najee, WRL. I'd rather have Najee, to be honest.
I'll take Najee as well.
Kobe.
I agree.
Kobe says, I traded Joe Mixon for Jerome Ford and Garrett Wilson. Good trade.
I personally don't think so.
Yeah, this is another example where we desperately need context there. In a 12-man start 12 or start 11, hell yeah. Give me the Ford and Wilson side. Yeah. But in a 10-man start 8, I'll take Mixon. So the context is important.
Mm-hmm. Should I trade Brian Robinson for Jonathan Taylor? I just think it's way too early. We don't know if he's going to come back or what that was going to look like. If he's going to be on this team, I think it's too risky, especially at the running back position. It makes sense to do it. Name value, 100%.
Yeah, if you were to tell me Jonathan Taylor plays week 5 for the Indianapolis Colts. Duh.
Absolutely. No doubt.
Who knows, though? Who knows what happens? Zay Jones or JSN? I'll play Zay if he plays.
Agreed.
Sean, what's up, man? Do I trade away Hollywood and Montgomery for Judy and Pierce? 12-man PPR. Hollywood and Montgomery for Judy and Pierce. I see this relatively even. I think, man, if I knew when Kyler Murray came back, it would be really helpful to answer this question, wouldn't it?
I actually think that as the season goes along, Josh Dobbs is going to be viable for Hollywood Brown. It may not be a consistent play where he's going to be getting 17 points like he did last week, but at least he's going to get the 6 to 7 targets, and maybe he gets you a good flex option of maybe 8 to 13 points, and you're going to have to be happy with that. So I'd rather have that because I think Monty is the better play at running back at the moment.
I think so too, but he'll be injured for multiple weeks. I'll take Judy and Pierce there.
That's fair.
Parker, Baker versus Philly, Stafford versus Cincinnati. I think we answered this, no?
We answered this question, yeah.
Ronald, 16 team, full PPR. What trades should I do considering my situation? Guys, we can't do these kind of like long drawn out questions. I'm so sorry. Like, ask us more direct questions so we can help as many people as we possibly can. We do team breakdowns and like that personalized type of advice through the fantasy hotline, which is a perk that you get when you sign up using our code LAND to the Flock Fantasy website, choosing the Mother Flocker tier. Check out the description if you're interested. Chocolate milk for $4. Love it. I'll take it. Running back position is becoming a crapshoot. That's true. Jacob said, who should I start in my flex? It's in an 8-man PPR league. Kyren, Garrett Wilson, Ayuk. Okay, so all these guys we know we should probably start, but I guess Kyren is the answer, right?
Yeah. Kyren is the answer.
Hazelnut says, lost Barkley and Monty for a bit. I have to roll with Najee and Jalen Warren. Other options are Chuba Hubbard and Kendre Miller. I think you're rolling with the right people. Parker says, stop arguing and answer my question. Parker, respectfully, you can go to a different stream. We're going to do what we want to do. Next question here. Should I have Kyren Williams or James Cook or Kamara? Should I trade Kyren Williams for James Cook or Kamara? Honestly, I'm rolling with Kyren Williams there, dude. Like, that usage is ridiculous. 95% of snaps.
Yeah, that's wild right now.
10 targets as a running back? I'm not saying it's going to happen every week, but I can't give that away right now.
I think a more realistic thing that we would probably see is what we saw in week 1.
Sure.
I do believe when Alvin Kamara comes back, that offense already 2-0. They're struggling in the run game. Alvin is going to it's going to change this offense. And I think I'd rather go Alvin Kamara long term. I think he will have the more value. But right now, I think Kyren does feel amazing. But that also depends on your running back room.
Give me Kyren there over those options. Parker Bledsoe, what's up, man? Says, would you do this trade? I get D-Hop and Mixon for Ayuk and Rashad White. D-Hop and Mixon for Ayuk and Rashad White. Man, D-Hop, it just doesn't seem exciting, does it?
Yeah, it was pretty disappointing last week.
I think I'm rocking with Ayuk and Rashad White there.
I am doing that as well, but don't love Rashad White long term over Brandon or Joe Mixon. So
I agree.
Keep that in mind.
I did hear about that, Sean. It's a mess in Chicago. Abraham says, would you trade Waddle for Ingram and DJ Moore? Would you trade Waddle for Ingram and DJ Moore? No, I wouldn't.
Trade Waddle
because I think
for Ingram.
I think Ingram's also going to be up and down, boom bust.
Yeah, I agree. We got a super chat, Lucius.
Oh, okay, my bad. We'll get to Brady's question in a second.
Appreciate you, Lucius. Thank you so much. He said, got a trade request with me giving up Chase for Lamb. I'm okay with that. It's a pivot move. It feels more comfortable right now with CeeDee Lamb. I think Chase is going to be great long term. But if you need to win now, I'm happy to go CeeDee Lamb.
I do think there's a scenario here where Lamb is much, much better. Or sorry, Chase is much, much better rest of season, right? We don't expect him to be this poor. I just think you're kind of removing yourself from the unknowns of Joe Burrow's injury. So I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that.
I agree.
Brady was the next question. Guys, drop a super chat if you want your question answered straight away. 86 people watching. Please do us a favor. Go ahead and smash that like button. As we help you with your fantasy team, you can help the channel grow. Brady's question says, hey guys, I just picked up Aaron Jones off waivers. What? I know he's questionable for week 3, but am I missing something? It just sounds like your league is...
He had a hamstring injury, and it doesn't sound like your league
I
is
don't know
smart.
what's wrong with
No
your
offense
league.
to them.
Sounds like
Appreciate
a Mickey
you,
Mouse comp, and you're dominating. Well done. Leon, thank you. Appreciate you. Yes, we got some talk about the Akers situation. Daniel Jones or Jared Goff. I'll go Goff.
Good matchup this week.
Yeah, I'll go
Yeah.
Goff.
Don't be
Office
surprised
Depot.
with DJ, though. Don't be scared of DJ if you really want to roll with him. Rushing upside's there. Not going to be sexy. Anyways,
I'm scared.
just wanted to put that. Just want to put that out there.
Start one between these options. It would probably be Reynolds, actually, I think.
Either Mims, Kendra. Yeah, I'm going Reynolds.
It's Reynolds or Dobbs, really.
Yeah, Reynolds feels like the safer play. Dobbs had an up and down game this past week. He's playing the Saints. Tougher matchup.
Yeah, in fact, I'm glad you asked that question because I'd like to adjust my rankings after getting that question. I do think that's the smart move there. Now, what if Watson doesn't play? That does change things.
I think I'm still going Reynolds. I think this offense is struggling. Obviously, Monty misses a big part. You kind of alluded to Amon-Ra's turf toe. He might be limited. They might have to roll with Josh Reynolds a little bit more this week. I'm going Reynolds, but I think Dobbs is a good one if Christian Watson doesn't play. Have we heard of him practicing this today?
Last we heard was he was a limited participant last week, so I expect him to play. But yeah, okay. I like Reynolds this week, especially considering the Amon-Ra turf toe. Grant says RB2 is Warren. Would you trade Flowers, my wide receiver 4, for Swift?
No.
Look, we'll either be very wrong on this question or very right. It is my opinion that Swift will not see 30 touches a game, and he won't play the Minnesota Vikings every week, and Gainwell will be involved. I mean, he was a starter in week 1. I know Swift played well, but it's not like Swift is going to get that many touches every week. I just think it's a wrong time to trade for Swift. I would be in on Swift maybe if there's a couple down games, but no. Rashawn or Dalvin Cook? That's a real question. Real question that needs a real answer. I'll go Dalvin.
It's a real question that needs a real answer. Yeah, I'll go Dalvin with you. I think he'll definitely be better. I think they both have a good even floor of like 6 points. So I guess go with the better offense.
Yeah, great.
Fernando, who should I go on flex? Mostert, Cooper, Lockett, or Kirk? All these guys needs to be started, feels like, but I think we will both say Lockett coming into this week. Amari Cooper is phenomenal start this week as well, actually.
Yeah, Cooper is one of those guys where I'm way higher than consensus on him this week. Love the matchup versus Tennessee. That is the best matchup you can get. In fact, I am going to go Amari over Lockett this week. I know that sounds crazy, but, you know, keep in mind, in week 1, Lockett didn't do anything. So I know it's like, what have you done for me lately? But I'll go Amari Cooper there. Love the matchup. I still think Lockett's going to be great. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So
I think so as well. Ian Coleman, should I start Brian Robinson over Joe Mixon? No, I'm still going Joe Mixon personally. I think Zach will say the same.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sorry about that, Office.
Yeah, I hear you, man.
Star 3, happy PR. AJ Brown, Lamb, really never thought this could be a question. You have too many great guys that all should be started. First of all, Nick, close your eyes. I think we say this yesterday. If you have a partner, your mom, your best friend, whoever, put all these names in a hat and then tell them to pick out. Those are your 3 that you're starting.
Here's what my rankings currently tell me. And keep in mind, Calvin Ridley's my guy. But my rankings currently tell me to start A.J. Brown, CeeDee Lamb, and Puka Nacua. Puka is my wide receiver 10. Calvin is my wide receiver 11 on the week.
Oh, boy. I think if I had to sit anyone,
How are you going to sit the guy who just got 20 targets versus the Niners?
I would say this. No, I wasn't going there. I
No,
think
I'm
if
just
I had
saying in general.
Oh, right. If I say this, if I had to sit anyone, it will probably be CeeDee Lamb based off of the matchup.
Really? CeeDee Lamb? I love CeeDee Lamb this week.
I think the team is going to maybe run the ball a little bit more.
Wow, okay.
I think
Lamb's my wide receiver 4 on the week, so he was my number 1 option.
I would say this: you think of the teams that go against AJ Brown playing the Bucks, could be a high scoring game the way Baker's playing right now, or it could be terrible. CeeDee Lamb playing the Texans, the Cardinals, who I think they're just gonna run all over. Could be wrong there. Calvin Ridley playing the Texans, high scoring game, and then Puka, who is just getting the targets. So I don't know. Once again, it's hard to say who to sit.
Is the Jags Texans really that much more of a high scoring game than the Cowboys Cardinals? I think you might be overthinking this, trying to galaxy brain it.
Maybe I am overthinking it, but I think I'm thinking of how the Jags performed last week, and how closely were to scoring. I mean, Calvin really almost caught like 2 touchdowns last week. Yeah. He had 8 targets.
All right, let's give an answer here because we got to keep going.
Well, that's what I said. I said CeeDee Lamb, but I don't like it.
Okay, say Flowers or Chris Godwin.
I'm going Zaza.
Yeah, I'll go Chris there. I'll go Chris. Philly's giving up a ton of points to wide receivers, and it looks like there's going to be a lot of people involved in Baltimore. Drop Algier for Madison or Dillon. Would you drop Algier for Madison? Definitely not Dillon, but would you drop Algier for Madison?
Yes.
I think I would still prefer Madison rest of the season.
Yeah, I would as well.
But all 3 of those guys should be rostered, really. Joe, what's up, Joe? Do I trade Mostert for Pittman? Current teams, RB. Okay, so do we trade Mostert for Pittman? We look at the team there. He lost Chubb.
I don't think you have the opportunity to trade Raheem Mostert away if you lost Chubb.
Yeah, look at those running backs. It's Ford, Mostert, Warren, Mitchell. No, you can't trade. No. You can't trade Mostert away.
You can't. You just can't do that. MP. Maybe that's the case. Maybe that is the case. You just never know. That's why he hates him.
Style says, what if I told you that before week 1, 2 league winners were sitting on waivers and they played for the Rams? True.
Gosh, that's crazy.
Yep. We already answered Parker's question. And he was angry at us.
Jacob, I traded Amon-Ra Pacheco for Calvin Ridley, Raheem Mostert, an MT win or loss.
I actually like this a lot.
I don't mind it here, especially the way Raheem and MT are playing. They both seem like viable. At least MT feels like a viable flex moving forward.
Waller or Ertz? I'll go Waller.
Agreed.
I definitely get you. I'm worried about the Niners defense too, but there should be more opportunities for other people without Saquon. Yeah. What's up, Jacob? He says, who should I start, Calvin Ridley or Mike Evans for a wide receiver 2, and who should I flex? This would be, how do you not start all these guys? If I had to choose, you really want me to, Calvin Ridley and Puka Nacua, but
I'm there with you.
Yeah, tough one. Mike Williams or Drake London? I will go Mike Williams this week. Love the matchup.
Mike Williams.
Mike Will made it. Joe E says, why do people keep asking if they should flex Puka? He should be number 1 spot. Yeah, he's ranked as a wide receiver 1 for me. What's up, Brandon? Welcome in. We starting Breece, London, Gainwell, or Kendre? Breece, London, Gainwell, or Kendre? Probably London.
I'm going London. We don't know if Gainwell's going to start this week. But even then, do you feel confident in starting him with Swift there the way he just performed? So yeah. And Breece, he's still not 100% clearly, and I kind of was telling a lot of people to sit him last week because I didn't think week 1 was a true indicator of what he can be.
He's also not going to get 4 carries every week either.
I would agree.
He'll be more and more involved. He'll be great rest of the year, just not great that week or great defense or great matchup. But I think we're both there on London. 97 people watching the stream, guys. Can you help us get to 100 likes? I think we can get there. We're currently 24 likes away from 100. So if everyone were to smash the like button right now, I think we can get to 100 likes all together. As we help you guys with your fantasy teams, you can help the channel grow. Keep in mind, if you want your question answered straight away, drop a super chat. Otherwise, we are going in order. The next question is from Donald. Good evening, fellas. DJ Moore, Chris Godwin. I'm going Chris Godwin there.
I'm going DJ still.
JSC says someone dropped Jerry Jeudy. Should I drop Elijah Moore for him? I would rather have Jerry Jeudy.
I would rather have Jerry Jeudy, but I'm not dropping Elijah Moore. There has to be somebody else that you can drop.
Right, but if you had to choose one.
Yeah, if I said Jerry Jeudy. It would be Jerry Jeudy for me. Yeah.
Hunter Henry or Zach Ertz this week. I think you got to roll with Henry.
I am going Hunter Henry as well.
But they're back-to-back in my rankings, and Zach Ertz is my tight end 9. Raheem Mostert and Terry McLaurin for Joe Mixon redraft.
Raheem Mostert and Terry
really need to know how big that league is, how many starters you have,
I'm
who
going
your
Joe.
wide receivers are if you lose Terry.
I would agree there, but if I had to know without those contexts, I'm going Joe Mixon. I'd rather have Joe Mixon long term than Raheem Mostert. Terry's a great wide receiver. But yeah, I'm going Joe Mixon.
Yeah, it would be Raheem and Terry for me there, man. I mean, I don't think
fair.
Terry and Joe are all that different in value, and you're giving up a starting running back with Raheem right now. I know he could get injured, but right now he's not. Right now he's a top 20 play. So yeah, that's a tough one without context. Yeah. Quinn says Jacobs, Mostert, Swift, Kelly, pick 2. I think we already answered this.
We did answer
We answered this one already. You guys don't need to put your questions in twice. Just make sure you're staying with us on the stream. And if we get questions that are there twice, we probably won't answer them because we've already taken time to answer them once. Sparrow says, start Miles Sanders or Kyron Williams in the RB2 slot. In flex, do I start Ayuk? Miles Sanders or Kyron? I'm going Kyron. In the flex,
agreed.
Ayuk if he plays. If he doesn't, Zay.
Exactly.
What's up, Hazelnut?
Exactly.
Apple Jacks with unsweetened almond milk. When you're high, it's mighty tasty. Love that.
Mighty tasty. I love that, man. Miss some Apple Jacks, man.
I swear we answered this question like 3
100%.
times, Parker.
Parker, you won't put in the chat at least 3 more times.
Yeah.
I think we answered Holly.
We really need someone to moderate our chat. Because like the duplicated questions are actually getting frustrating.
Flex Cooper. I think we answered that for Fernando as well. What else we have? Sport, Nico Collins or Zay Flowers this week.
Wait, did we answer D Holly's question?
Yeah, wasn't that a super chat? Have Hill, maybe I'm not. Sorry.
Have Hill and Amon-Ra. Do you think they both go out? No, I think they'll both play. And Davis is fine, depending on options. Fernando,
okay,
did we answer
Sorry
that?
about that. I thought we did Flex Cooper, Mostert, Lockett, or Kirk.
Yeah,
I think
Cooper
we
for me.
said, yeah, Cooper, if I'm not mistaken. You said Cooper or Lockett. This is very close, though.
Yeah, Nico Collins or Zay Flowers this week. Let me double check my rankings there.
This one's Zay Flowers is a smash start for me versus against this matchup, but Nico Collins seems like the guy.
I would go
There's
Nico
no one
Collins.
else competing there. Yeah, there's no one else competing there, so I am going Nico Collins.
Well,
he doesn't have Mark Andrews. Well, he doesn't have Mark Andrews.
No, he doesn't
have. No. So I think that's kind of what I'm thinking.
We talked about that. Tim, what's up? Go ahead.
10-team Dynasty PPR. Which 2 should I start? Jordan Addison, Zay Flowers, Christian Kirk, and Garrett Wilson. I'm going Jordan Addison and Zaza here, personally. But Christian Kirk is a great start as well.
Jeez. Yeah. That is a difficult one because they're all so close in my rankings.
Both have great starts. Jordan Addison playing the Chargers, who we saw give up a lot of points to the wide receiver position, and Zay Flowers playing the Colts, literally who give up the most fancy points to the wide receiver position.
Yeah, I like when questions like these are answered because it makes me really tinker with my rankings. I think it's good when we do these streams. I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah. What's happening, Oracle? How you doing, man? Adam, would you trade Josh Allen, DJ Moore, and AJ Dillon for Lamar and Brees? I lost Chubb and struggling bad. I don't think you I think what you're giving up is way too much, personally. Brees, I understand he had a great game, but we're still not sure when he's going to get that 100% workload back, or even that 50% workload back, right? I think Josh Allen, DJ Moore is way too valuable to. I know you lost a running back, but I'm not trading my star wide receiver, just to get Brees, who could probably get 10 to 12 touches this week. You know, like, we're not guaranteed those touches, so I'm not doing that personally. There has to be somebody else you can trade for. Like, I'd rather trade for one of these lower running backs, you know, than trade away my top wide receiver and quarterback for Brees Hall.
Yeah. I gotta put this guy in timeout. This is like genuinely, I think, the 10th time he's asked this question.
Death Lord, thinking of trading Amon-Ra St. Brown in all 3 of my leagues. I have him for AJ Brown. Should I do it? So you have a trade to trade away Amon-Ra to acquire AJ Brown. I don't trust Amon-Ra's injury. If you want to give yourself versatility, sure. To switch it up. I don't think that's a bad trade, but it's up to you.
They're pretty even. Should I trade Kyron for Olave? If you need wide receiver help and you're good at running back, yes. Just depends.
Yep.
Jacob says, should I trade Mike Evans, Hunter Henry for Michael Pittman, Mark Andrews? Yeah, I prefer the Mark Andrews one.
Agreed.
Also thinking of trading Derrick Henry, Raheem Mostert, and Jamal Williams for Ramondre Stevenson, Jacoby Myers, Jackson Smith, and Darren Waller, and flipping Waller for Debo. Yeah, if you can do that, that's great. Jamal Williams is kind of a dead asset now, so
Agreed.
I'm fine with that. Love it. I just got offered Keenan Allen for T. Higgins and Najee Harris.
I'm keeping.
I'll take the T. Higgins side.
I think if you need a running back really bad, sure, but I think I'm keeping Keenan Allen of just how great he's been performing. But I think it's not a bad trade.
I feel like Keenan and T have like a similar outlook rest of the year as far as the amount of points they'll put up. So I'll take the.
You get the plus one Najee there. I get it. Henry or Waller. I think we're both going Waller.
Yeah. Yeah, we already answered that question from Death Lord. Make sure, DM us if we miss anything there, Death Lord. David says, my dart on Hunt hit the board. We shall see how well it hits the coming weeks. I mean, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, my expectation is not that Kareem Hunt takes over this job. I think he is what Jerome Ford was to Nick Chubb, so he'll be involved, but I don't think he'll take over the job. Keep in mind, they had Jerome Ford and Kareem Hunt on the team last year, and they decided to move on from Kareem Hunt. So they already made that decision, but yeah, it's definitely Kareem Hunt is someone you want rostered for sure.
Agreed.
Because I feel like he could be really fun through the air for this team.
I just think it's just easy for the Browns. Why bring in somebody else? Kareem knows the offense.
It's probably a different offense, but yeah.
But yeah, I understand. But he knows like how things operate. You kind of understand what he can bring for you for your team. He probably is a team leader in some way. So I think it's not a bad pickup there.
He can be your kicker if you need.
Whatever you need, no worries.
Some of you will know that reference.
Sparrow. Some of the trades I've seen for Puka, Jerome Ford, Carmelis are insane. Puka for Dotson in the 24 first and the 25, for example. I mean, that's phenomenal if you can get Dotson into first for Puka.
Yeah.
That's great.
Quinn says, if I'm rebuilding in Dynasty and I have people popping off like B-Rob and Nico, should I try and flip them for studs this early? I mean, yeah. I mean, dude, if you can get 100%. First-round picks and stuff, absolutely.
Absolutely.
G Wes says, sup fellas, thoughts on Bijan Puka or Eckler Puka for CMC and Garrett Wilson? I'll take Bijan Puka and Eckler Puka over CMC Garrett Wilson.
Agreed. Completely agree.
Nico Collins or Jacoby Myers? I'll go Nico this week. Jacoby does look fun. Christian Kirk or Jordan Addison? I'll go Jordan Addison. What's up? What's up, DJ Moore, Chris Godwin? We answered that one. I said Chris Godwin, but I said DJ Moore. Volpe says, wasn't able to grab Ertz on waivers, so should I drop Ferguson or Schultz? I think we answered this, but...
We answered this as well.
Come on, guys. Make sure you're just staying on the stream with us. We're going to get to your questions, please. Just don't put your questions in like multiple times. It makes the stream tough. But yeah, we said drop Schultz. Javonte Williams, Tyler Algier, or Jalen Warren for RB2.
Javonte.
Got to be Javonte there, yeah. Not ideal so far, but got to be Javonte. Oh, Josh Reynolds injured his groin today. Okay, well that's gonna change things.
Yep.
I didn't see that
Well,
report anywhere.
let us know. I mean, yeah, I haven't seen that either.
Oh, it says he
I
was
looked that up.
limited at practice. A minor groin injury. Isn't thought to be serious. Okay, we'll have to find out.
Should I flex Nico, Kittle, Michael Thomas, Zach Moss, or D Hop? I mean, Kittle feels like he needs to be started unless you are somebody that drafted Mark Andrews, George Kittle.
He did, yeah.
But I'm going Nico Collins there.
Yeah, I'll roll with you. Garrett Wilson or Brian Robinson this week?
I'm going Brian Robinson. I can't trust Garrett Wilson or Zach Wilson and Garrett Wilson. I can't trust it.
Yeah, Brian Robinson versus Buffalo. I guess you go with who's going to touch the ball more, and that would be Brian Robinson. Joshua Kelly or Brian Robinson? So it's obviously a much better matchup for Joshua Kelly than it was last week.
I'm going Kelly this
right
week.
Right now in my rankings, I have Robinson ahead, but that's because I don't know if Eckler sits or not. If Eckler does sit, I will move Kelly ahead.
I'm going Kelly. I thought he was a sit last week, and I think he is a good start coming into this week.
Yeah.
No good choices here, but would you go P. Ryan or Roscoe? I think we would both go P. Ryan there.
I don't know, dude. Like, this whole, like, Jaleel McLaughlin or whatever his name is really screwing up that backfield. I'm going Rashawn there.
What's happening with that? I haven't really read the reports. I saw the headline. I read the headline. I didn't read the full thing. Have you?
So they gave him it's not like he played a bunch of snaps. It was Samaje and Javonte for most of the time. Samaje played 50% of the snaps, Javonte 45%, but they're doing that weird thing where Javonte's in, he rushes the ball, and when Samaje's in, he doesn't really rush the ball. I mean, he had one rushing attempt last week, for example. I think I'm going Rashawn Johnson because there's always the opportunity that he gets involved in the passing game. They're playing the Chiefs. They should be down from behind. Neither of these guys are ideal, but I just feel like there's a clear cap on Samaje. Like, if they're willing to put the third running back in on the goal line, they don't care about doing what makes sense, you know?
Yeah, I definitely hear you. I think I did speak about Rashawn earlier this week about the efficiency that he's been more efficient on the ground.
Yeah.
With less opportunities with Khalil Herbert. So I do like Roscoe. So definitely keep that in mind coming in off waiver wires if he's still available there. Next question here.
Music, yeah.
Yeah, Untamed Music. Just traded Raheem Mostert, Najee, and Love for Stevenson, Fields, and Gainwell. Your thoughts?
I like it. I mean, you upgrade at running back. You get a quarterback who has been great for fantasy and seems pretty pissed off. He says he's going to play his way. A reporter said to him today, what's going on? He said, I'm not playing like me. And then they said, well, what does that look like for you to play like you? And he said, you'll find out. So he seems pissed off.
You'll find out. Against the Chiefs?
I can see the memes coming in because I can see that being memed. You'll find out. 3 interceptions, just back-to-back picks.
3 interceptions, but like 400 rushing yards.
Yeah,
like,
so we'll see. But that's fun for fantasy. So I like the Ramondre side.
Yeah, I do as well. I think we answered this trade for Pierce. I'm still keeping Pierce.
Yeah, I actually want the chat to tell me on this one, actually. I would love the chat right now. Please spam the chat. Are we going Jerome Ford or Dameon Pierce rest of season? Because I'm kind of leaning towards Jerome Ford at this very moment. I like the offense. I like what the running back means to the offense a little bit more. You're going Pierce. I just want to hear from the chat. Jerome Ford or Dameon Pierce? Who are you going right now?
Yeah,
we have
like
one
both
Pierce.
Of these guys. I'll let you guys know. I like both of these guys. I mean, you guys know how much I love Jerome Ford. I love Dameon Pierce. We'll wait and see, but I say we continue to answer and we'll come back to it.
Yeah.
So we're not wasting any more time. Trade Swift for James Cook. I'm personally going James Cook. Okay. Yeah, we're on the same page. So I love that.
Do I trade Ford for Pierce? We already talked about that. Come on, guys. Herbie Derby, 10-team full PPR. The question is, what are your thoughts? It's a good team, man. It's a good team. Let us know if you
it's
have
a
a more
great team.
specific question. There's a lot of questions we got to get to today, but appreciate your comment. Trade away Zach Moss for Miles Sanders. I'll take Sanders.
Please, every day.
Yep.
Kirk Jacoby at Will or Shaheed at flex. I think we'll both go Kirk.
It's between Kirk and Jacoby for me.
Okay.
And Jacoby should be back. He was really fun.
He was limited this past week. He's playing the Steelers
on
Monday night at home.
I'll
lean Kirk. A fun game for Jacoby.
But if Jacoby's healthy, I might lean that way. We just don't know.
RGQ, my matchup looks closer this week. Kickers might be deciding factor. I have Sanders. Should I go Brett Maher or Nick Folk? When it comes down to kickers, I mean, I'll go. I'm keeping Sanders this week. I would say this: I'm keeping Sanders. It's a high-scoring offense. Whether he gets you 3 points or 10 points, he'll get opportunity. So yeah. I'm going Sanders.
Yeah, Sanders would be my option too there. Hey guys, we'll be live for another 30 minutes. Okay, 30 minutes will be 2 hours live streaming. If you want your question answered straight away, drop a super chat. Otherwise, we'll go in order and we'll do our absolute best. Drop a like on the video as we're helping you set your lineups, help the channel grow. Akshay says start one in the flex this week: Wilson, Rachaad White, or Hopkins. And for me, probably rolling with Hopkins here.
I'm going Hopkins here.
Yeah, don't love the matchup for Rachaad White. Hopkins plays Cleveland, not a great matchup either. But lesser of the two evils, I guess. Actually, I'm sorry. Garrett Wilson would be my answer here.
I'm going D-Hop still. I mean, I could be wrong here. Maybe this is just my frustration against Zach Wilson. But
here's what I know. We have seen a game where DeAndre Hopkins got 5 targets. It just happened. I would be shocked if we see a game where Garrett Wilson, well, he had one in week 1 versus Buffalo, so never mind.
Yeah,
I just feel like Wilson is like the offense for them almost. It's close. It really is close.
I understand. I understand where you're coming from. FC Eagles 14 team, Pittman or Williams in my wide receiver 2. I'm assuming Mike Williams. I'm going Mike Williams.
Yeah.
Whoever you don't pick will then go against Sanders at my flex. So which one of those two? I'll go Sanders as well.
We have a super chat from AR Cruz. Thank you for the super chat, man. We'll answer that straight away. PPR league start Josh Kelly, Rachaad White, Zach Moss. This would be Kelly for me, assuming that Eckler doesn't play.
Agreed. And if Eckler does play, I'm going Rachaad White, even though I don't love that matchup.
Okay.
That's what I would say. Jimmy T, start 2, Hall, Algier, and Ford. Ford. Who's Tyler Algier play, actually? He plays the Lions. Ooh. It could be all about Tyler Algier this week,
I think this is Breece Hall for me, dude.
I'm going Tyler Algier, actually. I was off him last week. I said he could be a trap play. I thought Green Bay was going to play better, but he's going against the Lions, who currently give up top 5, top 6 most points to the running back position so far. And maybe that could be a little bit skewed because Kenneth Walker found the end zone twice last week, but was very inefficient on the ground. If I'm not mistaken, before I put my foot in my mouth, let me just double check.
No, I think that is true.
He was very inefficient on the ground, but he got 2 touchdowns, which I think kind of goes towards those fantasy points.
This would be Breece Hall for me. We just saw Raheem Mostert dominate this Patriots defense. Now that's not an indication that every running back will. And I don't believe that Breece Hall is going to get 4 touches every game. I think that's stupid. They know that's stupid. In my opinion, they were like, we're not beating the Cowboys, so we probably shouldn't put Breece Hall out there. So in my opinion, I would go Breece Hall there because I don't think there's like a clear great option. And in those scenarios, I'll pick the best player.
Yeah, I would agree there. You know, thinking back to my take about Drake London, I was like, well, the Lions do give up. You have to think of the context of those fantasy points as well, because they didn't give up too many yardage. They gave up run touchdowns. So I actually don't like Hall. I'd rather go Ford, but I understand where you're coming from on why you would go Breece Hall there.
Nico Collins or Jacoby Myers, Joshua Kelly or Brian Robinson. I'll go Nico Collins,
Nico.
and then I will go Kelly if Eckler doesn't play.
Agreed.
My running backs are Pierce, Rachaad White, James Cook, Rashawn Johnson. Should I drop someone for Kendre Miller or Tony Jones? Pierce, White, Cook, Rashawn Johnson. No.
No. I'm keeping all those guys. But if there's somebody else you want to drop, sure.
Is it better, Carlos says, to put 3 wide receivers, 2 running backs, or 3 running backs or 2 wide receivers? I guess you're asking, like, in your starting lineup, we would try and put more wide receivers, but it depends on the options, right? And it depends on your format. Like, if you're playing half PPR, then maybe running backs. Full PPR, probably wide receivers. Start 2, Gibbs, Zay Flowers, or Drake London. This would be Gibbs and Zay Flowers for me.
Yeah, it's Gibbs and Zay Flowers.
Pablo says full PPR. We had a super chat. We'll get to. I'm sorry, Pablo. We have a super chat. We need to get to that first. Right?
Yeah, which is Stephen Drake.
Yes.
Browns or Tampa Bay defense. I'm going Browns.
Let me check my rankings. Tampa plays the Eagles, so I don't really want to chase that necessarily. I would also go the Cleveland Browns, who have looked pretty good defensively, versus Tennessee. So yeah, I would go Browns there. But we have to be honest. Like, defenses as a whole is pretty much a crapshoot. So.
No, I completely agree. The way I look at defenses nowadays is how many sacks can I get?
Yeah, sacks,
right?
Interceptions, turnovers.
Because sacks last week with the Chargers, 5 sacks versus the Titans, and week 1 versus the Titans, 3 sacks with the New Orleans Saints. So, and they have Myles Garrett. So, I'll take the Browns there. But thanks for the super chat, man.
Yeah,
really
thank you. Appreciate that. We'll be live for another 24 minutes, guys. If you want your question answered straight away, drop a super chat. Pablo was the next one in line. And he says, full PPR, can I trade Chase or Amon-Ra paired with Miles Sanders for Bijan? And should I do it? He says, I have Waddle and Puka at wide receiver and James Cook and Kenny Walker at running back. Should I trade Chase or Amon-Ra paired with Miles Sanders?
For Bijan. For one player. For Bijan Robinson. I love Bijan.
Bijan is the most valuable player in this deal. But Jamar Chase is going to be better. Amon-Ra is probably going to finish top 10, if not top 5.
Agreed.
So, no, I don't think I can.
I completely agree.
That's right, Hazelnut. Lennon says 10 teams. So, let's see. Trade Brees or Javonte plus DJ for a different wide receiver. Thoughts? Trade Brees or Javonte. I'd be happy to package Javonte and DJ Moore. If you can go out and upgrade. Let's say you can get like even like a Keenan Allen, an Olave, a Ridley right now off a bad game, a Puka if someone doesn't believe in him still, an AJ Brown if someone's questioning him, a Chase, I would do that kind of move.
I think we answered this question. We said Eckler and Puka from Jay Wiz there.
Yeah.
Pick 2 for the wide receiver and flex Jamar Chase, Olave, Nakua. I mean, all these guys needs to be started, my brother. I think for the wide receiver position, at the moment, it feels like Puka and Olave if Joe Burrow doesn't play. How about that? And then you start Kyren Williams.
Yeah.
But if Joe Burrow does play, then you're in a tough spot where you need to start all
If Joe Burrow plays, I think you actually sit Olave. As crazy as that sounds. But all those guys should be starters. Lots of handcuffs, Nick says. Feels like I need a receiver. Trade recommendations. Try and ask us a more like direct question, guys. Yeah, like we're trying to answer as many questions as we can, and those kind of like drawn out ones. Just try and answer a little bit more or ask a little bit more direct questions. We have trade videos on our page that we just released for running back and wide receiver positions. So if you're looking for trade options, go watch those videos, right? I mean, that's an entire 30 minutes in each video on different options for you. Hopefully that helps. I'm sorry. Bazambo says, full PPR, should I trade Kyren Williams for Josh Jacobs? Oh my gosh.
I'm going Kyren long term, I think. I don't think
Jacobs bounces back this week, in my opinion, versus the Steelers.
You think so?
I really do, yeah. Jerome Ford just went crazy on them, and I know that it was one broken
Sure.
play, but Josh
True,
Jacobs
true,
has
true,
had
true.
plenty of broken plays his entire career.
I think I'm going with the PPR upside in Kyron long term at this very moment. Um, which sounds crazy.
Jacobs
Josh
is
Jacobs is
averaging almost 5
amazing
targets
on
a
the ground.
game. Yeah, this is a tough one. This really is a tough one.
Hey,
I'm
you want the
not
household name in
anti
Jacobs,
Kyron
so.
Williams. I just feel like there's more security in a guy like Jacobs, and he goes up against the Steelers this week. Steelers give up the 4th most points to running backs.
And next week he goes against the Chargers as well,
Mhm.
which is
So-
a pretty bad offense.
Defense, yeah.
At least on the ground, defense on the ground. Sorry.
I think I'll go Josh Jacobs there because I expect a
But-
bounce back. But honestly, you might be able to get more straight up right now.
Maybe. We answer these solid wide receivers. David, don't forget to hit the like button, guys. Absolutely. Vanilla Villains. 3 acres trade to Vikings. I flipped Connor in a projected late 26 second round for Madison and a projected early 25 second. What do you think happens with the Vikings backfield? I think we kind of spoke about that.
Yeah.
I like the flip. It's crazy. If you have Alexander Madison and you sold him for early in the offseason, I think you're kind of buzzing about that right now. We
Yeah,
could be wrong.
for sure.
Could be wrong, but I think shout out to Smurf, another guy here, like 5 times in a row, my guy. Tim, 12-team PPR redraft. I traded Ken Walker and Hollywood Brown for Waddle and Najee. Did I make the right move? Ken Walker and Hollywood Brown for Waddle and Najee. I would rather have Waddle and Najee at the moment. I feel more comfortable with Waddle. Not sure about you.
Ken Walker in Hollywood. I'm actually going Ken Walker there just because like I feel like it's so hard to find a good running back play, and
I would
Najee's
agree.
a good play this week.
I would agree with
But
that. Yeah.
you know, him and Warren are splitting touches down the middle, 50-50, like to the T. So I'll take the Ken Walker side there with how hard it is to find good running backs.
That's fair. That's fair. I hear you. Who should I start at wide receiver? Amari, Flowers, Dotson,
for me.
London. Yeah,
Amari.
But Flowers is very, very close.
Hmm.
Kennedy, hey guys, should I make this trade? I give up Joe Mixon and Michael Pittman, and I receive Devontae Adams and Zach Moss. No, I am not doing that personally.
Yeah, neither.
Khalil Herbert on waiver wires, my league worth a pickup. I think he is.
Yeah, I
depending on who
mean,
he
if
drop.
you're in like a 10 or a 12 man, 8 man, no, but yeah.
Cold World getting impatient with the Path of Dragon. Should I give him another week or go with Jake Ferguson?
Give him another week.
I'll give him another week, but if you have Jake Ferguson, keep him rostered. Absolutely. Adam, start Swift, Kendra, Dylan, or Warren Swift.
Day's been good, man. Thanks
yeah,
for
thanks.
hanging out with us. Appreciate
Yeah,
y'all.
we appreciate you.
Matt, just a heads up, by the way, we'll only be
Oh.
live for another 17 minutes. 17 minutes. So make sure you get your super chats in if you want your question answered straight away. Otherwise, we will go in order and do our best. Next question is from Matt. Go ahead.
Nico Collins or over Jerry Judy or Chris Godwin. I'm going Nico.
Man, it's a really fun matchup this week for Judy. Let me just double check my rankings here. I am going Nico Collins there. But I am going Godwin over Nico. So Nico over Judy, but Godwin over Nico.
Fair. Ford and Roscoe got taken due to waiver wire positions. I grabbed Jalen Warren. Is there somebody else that would be better? Burrito was also taken. Depends on who's available.
Yeah.
I think that's a big question.
Yeah, we don't know what your waivers look like, you know, so it's hard to really tell you.
Opinions on this trade: Garrett Wilson for Kamara and Herbert.
Garrett
This
Wilson
one's
and Kelly.
tough, but yeah, it's Garrett Wilson and Kelly. As much as I love Kamara and I hate the negativity I've been talking about Garrett Wilson, I'm still keeping Garrett Wilson. T-Law, AR-15, T-Law.
Jeez, you know, I do think I'm going Kamara there. I do think I'm going Kamara, especially with how difficult it is to find a starting running back. I'm really changing my perspective there, trying to value
That's
running
true.
backs that are actually available and healthy and good running
That's
backs for
true.
fantasy. I would go Kamara there, but ideally, instead of Herbert, get a wide receiver. Get a, you know, get someone who's
Elijah Moore.
a Tank Dell, Elijah Moore,
Tank Dell.
a
Yeah, somebody.
Romeo
I would
Dobbs.
agree there. You know, I agree with you actually.
Hollywood,
I
and
100% will back you
JSN,
there.
Shahid. You know, so.
I hear you. I'll back you there. T-Law or AR-15 if he plays for. I think I'm still going Trevor Lawrence over AR-15, but
Yes.
but I mean he's looking great on the ground. I would say all three of these rookie quarterbacks have been looking decent. The one that's been struggling the most, in my opinion, has been Bryce Young. But there's not that many.
Yeah.
I guess that's what I have
So-
to say.
I saw in my opinion, like you're not saying this, but I'm already seeing it in some of our league chats. Bryce Young's bad. He's just bad. Like, no, Bryce Young is not bad.
Mhm.
Like, it's such an overreaction through 2 weeks. I can't remember who it was. I think it was fantasy points data. I can't remember, but someone threw up a diagram that showed accurate throws to open windows, and Bryce Young was like leading the league. The issue was how many open windows were there actually available for him to throw to? The fewest amount in the league. So when he has an open window, he's at this point been a top 5 most accurate player with open windows. The issue is he has the fewest open windows of any quarterback in the NFL so far available to him. So he's been great, but even if you watch those games, like Adam Thielen can't separate, Mingo can't separate, Shark can't separate, Hurst can't. No one can separate on that team. No one's getting open. I mean, I don't even know how we started talking about Bryce Young. My bad.
No, I was just saying, like, I just bought like a random thought about
Right.
these rookie quarterbacks. I was like, all these guys are playing well, but if you're putting their numbers back to back, obviously Bryce Young looks like he is struggling more. I think he has more interceptions.
Right.
I think they all have fumbled in some point in time. I think the one quarterback that hasn't thrown an interception is C.J. Stroud. I think C.J. Stroud has fumbled the most.
Yeah.
But overall has been, I would say for fantasy right now, it's AR-15 leading the way, and then C.J. Stroud producing fantasy relevant players around him as well, which is also pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Do I trade Swift for Cook? We already answered that, I think. We said James Cook.
Cook.
Smart and Marcus asked this question now. I think this is the 6th time. We already answered it. David says, which side wins, Debo Kamara or Gibbs Hopkins?
I'm going Debo Kamara.
Yeah.
We also have, we have a super chat, by the way. So sorry.
Yes, we do. My bad.
I think we have
Gator.
one from Gator fan. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. I need to make a move with Chubb going down and Justice Hill just got hurt. Would you move Pittman, Elijah Moore, Kirk, Gabe Davis, or risk moving Cup? Personally, I would be trying to be selling I think the person I don't want to sell still, in my opinion, maybe because this is my homer pick, is Elijah Moore.
Well, he's not going to give you any value anyway in a trade.
Yeah, I would say the person that will probably give you the most value as of right now, based off their production, is Michael Pittman.
Yeah, I agree.
Is Michael Pittman and probably Christian Kirk.
Let's give some names there then. Would you trade Michael Pittman for Breece Hall?
No.
I would. Would you trade Michael Pittman for James Conner?
Yes.
I would too. Would you trade Michael Pittman for James Cook? Yes, I would. Would you trade him for Miles Sanders?
Yes.
Would you trade him for Jahmyr Gibbs?
Yes.
So would I. Would you trade him for Rachaad White?
No.
If I'm desperately in need of running back, I would.
If I'm desperate in need, I understand. I would rather then when it comes to Rachaad White, I know Gabe Davis, you may not be exciting for you, but maybe somebody likes for Gabe Davis, and Rachaad White is their third running back. Can you send Gabe Davis for Rachaad White?
I don't think that's
not
happening.
enough?
That's not happening, I don't think. Not with how limited running backs are. Well, how about Javonte Williams for Michael Pittman? I think I would take Javonte because I expect him to be more and more worked in.
I will agree there.
I think I would not do like a Dameon Pierce, though. I wouldn't do a Dameon, a Zach Moss, a Herbert.
He has Nick Chubb, Dameon Pierce. If I'm not mistaken, if it's the same team I'm thinking of, he has
I think you're right.
Dameon Pierce, Nick Chubb. I'm selling Michael Pittman now.
Yeah. So hopefully that's helpful.
Yeah. Hopefully that is helpful.
All right, the next question, guys, we're only going to be live for another 11 minutes. Keep that in mind. Drop a like if you haven't. Appreciate you all. Love your buy low. Traded Sutton for Brandon Cooks, and he accepted. Love that for you. I love that deal. I think Cooks is going to be very good. Noah Chambers says Christian Kirk and Mostert for Waddle. Let's see, Christian Kirk and Mostert for Waddle. I think we didn't we answer a question like this? It might have been a different person. I don't know.
I think we might.
But
he has more context here.
Yeah.
If AJ Brown, Dylan Lockett, Dell Dotson, and wide receiver Stevenson, Hall, Ford, Kelly.
I think like so. Yeah, Stevenson, Jerome Ford, Breece Hall, and Joshua Kelly, and Kamara at running back. Then like with that context, I will take Waddle.
Yeah, I'm taking Waddle.
I would say Kendre Miller here over Tony Jones if he's healthy. But either way, I'll go Rashawn Johnson.
I'm going Rashawn Johnson as well. I would say this for these Saints running backs. I'm not sure if I'm starting either of them. Coming into this week,
I think people are in a really tough spot, and if Kendre's healthy, I would start Kendre. But
I would say this. I would say this surprisingly. I don't think coming off an injury with him being a rookie and not getting the opportunities that we've never seen before, I think they're gonna trust in Tony Jones more.
I would feel that way if it was Jamal Williams,
say.
But I mean they've seen Tony Jones the entire offseason. He's been on their practice squad and they've chosen Kendre over him. It's just because of the injury, you know.
Kendre just hasn't played. Like I think he played a handful of snaps in preseason before he got injured and hasn't played since.
Yeah,
but I hear you.
They had to elevate Tony Jones. Like he wasn't an option for them.
Yeah, I understand.
Chiefs or Patriots? I would go Patriots versus the Jets.
Agreed. Oh my gosh, so many sacks coming that way if you're the Patriots.
Yeah.
And interceptions. I have Shaheed and Tank Dell on my bench. Thoughts on these guys? Anyone better? Yeah, I like both of these guys. I just got Tank last night in our home league, so I'm pumped about that one.
Yeah, assuming like all the big names are gone, Tank Dell was my number one priority. Like in my 12-man league, the options on the waiver wire this week, Ford wasn't there. Tank Dell was my number one pickup. So I'm excited for him moving forward. Dotson or Algier? I'll go Dotson.
Dotson, agreed.
Patrick Mahomes, what's up, man? I dropped Juju for Tank Dell. Is that a good pickup? No, that is a great pickup. I think he did well.
He was on your team last week. Yeah, last year.
We don't even know if Juju even is the number 3 wide receiver right now in New England. Is Nico Collins a must start? Depends on your options, but yes, depends who you can play. But in a 12-man, yeah. What do you guys think about Hunt? We talked about this earlier in the stream. I would encourage you go back to the beginning of the stream because we talk about Cam Akers and Alexander Mattison for about 25 minutes. Is Nico a must start? Yes, in a 12-man. What's up, Jay Santiago? Tyreek can't play because of ankle. Would you go Addison or Hopkins? I'd go Addison, but I do think Tyreek plays.
He will play. Agreed.
Would you rather start Dobbs or Dell? If Watson's out, Dobbs?
Yeah, I would agree there.
If not Dell, I think.
I think I'm going Dell. I'm going Dell over Dobbs, and I have that, and I have one of my home leagues.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you.
I'm going Tank. I'm going Tank. Dobbs, Dotson, Zay, or JSN. I'm going Dotson.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I'm with you. London or Garrett?
Lakers. London. What's up, Garrett? How you doing, brother? It's been a minute. It's been a minute. Yeah, it has been a minute. I'm going London. If you were with us a little bit earlier, I understand Zach Wilson's there. I just can't trust it. Garrett Wilson is talented, but I can't trust it. He saved his day with that touchdown. If he didn't get that touchdown, we're having a whole different conversation saying, how can we trust him? But he got the targets.
He did. I'm going Garrett.
Yeah, I hear you. It's so tough. Who should I trade Alexander Mattison for? Does he still have value?
Talked about that at the beginning of the stream. Make sure you guys check out the first 30 minutes of the stream if you want to hear about Madison. But you can't trade Madison away right now. No one's going to give you proper value. You have to hold him. Like I just don't see anyone in any league being like, hey man, let me give you a reasonable offer now for Madison. You know, it's going to be low balls that just don't make sense for you.
Gentlemen, flex spot Shaheed or Bourne. I'm going Shaheed.
Yeah, same. We have a super chat from Bernard. Thank you for the super chat, Bernard. Appreciate you. Garrett Wilson, Kirk, Nico Collins. Who do I start? This would be Collins for me.
Yeah, I'm going Nico as well. I mean, I'm starting Nico Collins this week over Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, same.
Are you? Yeah. I mean, we have this question, Bernard, and I'm actually doing that in our home league. So
yeah,
hopefully that helps.
I agree. All right, guys, we have 5 minutes left in the stream. We'll do our best to get through questions, but super chats do get answered straight away, so keep that in mind. Daniel Jones or Jordan Love? I think you can go with Jordan Love this week.
He's been playing great.
Gets Watson back. No Niners defense that Love has to face like Danny. Danny doesn't have Saquon. I'll go Love.
Yeah.
Are Rodgers and Chubb worth holding on to in dynasty leagues? Yeah. I mean,
yes.
if the options are hold on to them or drop them, yeah, hold on to them.
I agree. I'm stacking on running backs. Stack the running backs. Pollard, Mixon, Kyron, Brees, Algier. Should I trade any for Cam? No. Is St. Brown a must start even with the injuries? Enjoy the stream, by the way. Appreciate you, Patrick Mahoney's. Yes, we're still starting. What's a good trade for Zach Moss? That's kind of a loaded question. A lot of people you could trade for Zach Moss personally. Can you get a Tank Dell?
I would, like, you're saying trade Zach Moss away, right?
I'm trying to trade him away, Dom.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to acquire him.
So,
if you're trying to get Zach Moss, I think that's the wrong move.
Yeah, I'd rather have Swift. I'd rather have Jerome Ford, Javonte Williams, Najee Harris, James Conner, Breece Hall. Don't know how much of those are possible. What is and what isn't. Jerry Jeudy.
Agreed.
But again, it depends on like what your needs are. I just think like Zach Moss is in a tough situation because if JT comes back, he's irrelevant.
Yeah, agreed. And that's kind of what we've been talking about all off season or leading up to until JT does come back. Tyler, I need a wide receiver and a flex. Moss, Kelly, Pickens, Kirk. I'm going Pickens and Kelly if Austin doesn't play, but if Austin does play, I'm going Christian Kirk.
Darrell says, I traded Chubb away for Aaron Jones and AK just days before the injury. Well done. That's tough. Jerome Ford or Zach Moss? I'll go Ford this week.
Agreed.
Rendon, what's up? Drop Rashawn Johnson for Cam Akers. Somebody dropped him over the weekend. No, I'd rather have Rashawn.
I think Cam Akers should be rostered. I think there could be somebody else you can drop. I'm not dropping Joshua Kelly because we don't know the time frame of Austin Eckler. But I think Cam Akers should be rostered. Pierce, Keenan, Christian Kirk, or Amon-Ra and Javonte. So Damian Pierce, Keenan Allen, and Christian Kirk, or Amon-Ra and Javonte.
I mean, with how much you need running backs right now, I'll go Amon-Ra and Javonte. But I guess like a little more context would have been, would have helped me make a better decision. But yeah, right now I would say Javonte because I think he'll be better than Pierce rest of the season.
Laporta or Waller?
We have a super chat. I just want to make sure we get to the super chat there.
Okay. I'm pretty sure we'll both go with Waller, by the way.
Pitts or Henry. Let's start there. Pitts or Henry. I think you do have to go Hunter Henry right now. In fact, I'm trying to be realistic. My Kyle Pitts ranking is 14 on the week. Hunter Henry's 8.
Have you seen the footballers? They were like, say it.
No.
So Andy. Oh, it's so funny because he was like, you drop Kyle Pitts right now. He was like, drop Kyle Pitts. He was like, say it. And he's going like to Mike and then Jason. It is so funny. You should watch it. But I don't know, man.
It's such a frustrating situation because, like, think about it. Like, what team could Kyle Pitts have been drafted to where it could have been worse? Like, I actually can't think of a single team.
I
Truly.
Agree. And hopefully, and right now, they're freaking winning games, which is not good. Because that means they're not going to get a top quarterback. And
you know what Sean McVay should do? He's always trading his first-round picks. Trade your first-round pick for Kyle Pitts because Sean McVay will use him, right? Like, it's disrespectful to draft a receiving tight end and put him in a run-heavy offense. It's disgusting.
Does he even block? Sorry.
He does block, but is it a specialty? No. His specialty is being one of the fastest tight ends ever, one of the greatest athletes at the tight end position ever, and catching the damn ball. Oh my God, man. I want the Chiefs so badly to send a first for him. Just be like, hey, when Kelsey's done, we're set for a decade. Anyway.
He might be on the block. You never know next year.
I don't think so. I mean, they're winning. And like they're playing the whole bullshit of like, well, they care about winning, don't they? We're winning games. Kyle doesn't care how many receptions he gets. I guarantee you come contract time, Kyle cares.
Yeah, 100%. Oh, Kyle, I don't know if you know, you were injured half of the year first year or his second year, and then your third year you only got like 60 receptions. How much money you want, Kyle? Well, how many times you throw the ball, huh?
God,
idiot.
The worst.
Anyways, Lockett, Puka, St. Brown, Olave sit 1. I'm saying I mean, all these guys need to be started here, Kendrick.
I'll sit Lockett of those options.
But yes, I was gonna say sit Lockett as well, so I feel really confident.
But of course, all those guys need to be started. Guys, that is 11:30. So we said we'd be live for 2 hours.
We'll go quick fire a couple since we went over all the way up to Adrian, since they're pretty quick.
Okay.
All right. Jerome Ford or Gus Edwards. I might go Gus Edwards this week because Justice Hill might be out, so I'm going Gus the bus.
Yeah, and we said Waller over Laporta.
Yeah, we
Devontae
did say
and Pickens for Chase. Keep Devontae and Pickens.
I would agree. Ferguson, Higbee, or Hurst. I'm going Ferguson. I'm
Jordan
going
Love
Ferguson.
Or Justin Fields. I'll go Fields, but it's close.
Fields. All right.
That's it for today, guys. That's it for today.
We
appreciate y'all. We try to get through as many questions as possible. We've been live for over 2 hours now. Do us a favor, drop a like. We will be live tomorrow, 8 p.m. Actually, tomorrow we'll be live a little bit earlier, no? Because it's the game.
It's the game, so we normally
we'll
go live 30 minutes before the game.
We'll be live at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow.
Yeah, so we'll keep you guys updated on that. I low-key want to be live for the crew to watch my reaction, but at the same time, I don't want to be embarrassed. So we'll wait and see what that looks like.
Yeah. All right, guys. Enjoy the rest of your night. We have a bunch of content over on the channel. Go check it out. If you want to know who to trade for, running backs, wide receivers, there are over like 15 to 20 names we've given you in the videos we dropped this morning. Go check them out. And enjoy the rest of your night. All love.
Love.